Thank you very much, Mark. The teams are out on the field, and for Manchester United, it's another Premier League game on a Monday. They've never lost a Monday night match at Old Trafford in the Premier League, and even away from home as they are tonight, Manchester United have got a very good record in these Monday games. A United fan outside told me he reckons it's 25 in a row without defeat, home or away, on a Monday night for Alex Ferguson's team, and his players wearing their traditional red jerseys, black shorts, white socks tonight, all sprint away, having been stood in a formation close to the halfway line. This is the business end of the season, and how many times down through the years, Phil Neville, have we seen Manchester United click into gear just when things get tight as they are now?
Well, this is the business end of the season. I think this is they plan all season for this. They rotate all year round. They rest players. When it gets to April, Alex Ferguson plays his best team, and the beauty about tonight's game, the stakes are just as high for Blackburn than what they are for Man United.
Yes, a win here can move Manchester United 5 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the Premier League. Alex Ferguson's side could be 8 points clear by the time Manchester City next take to the field. United need to win tonight. They also need to win against Queen's Park Rangers before Manchester City will play again. But if they can get those 2 wins, it will be an 8-point gap at the top. Phil mentioned there Blackburn. A win tonight gives them a 3-point cushion above the relegation zone. A defeat of any nature will put them back into the bottom 3. And you were chatting there about we look around Ewood Park, there aren't any keen out banners. I don't think it's been a case of just weed out the odd rotten apple, turn over a new leaf and get on with it. I think it's the results, it's getting out of the relegation zone that has put an end to these protests, put an end to the keen out banners. If Blackburn go back into the bottom 3, Phil Neville, do you think the crowd get restless once again?
I'm not so sure. I think with 7 games to go from now to the end of the season, I think what the Blackburn fans have realised is that they don't want to be playing Championship football. They don't want to be coming to Ewood Park on a Saturday afternoon watching a Championship match. They want Premiership football. They want Man United coming to town, and they've got to get behind the team to do that.
The stakes very high indeed as both captains stand inside the centre circle with the referee Howard Webb. It's Paul Robinson just crouching down beside a young Blackburn Rovers mascot who will now make her way sprinting off the field, and the big mascot, the big furry one, trudges along afterwards, and it's now just one cameraman left on the field before we can get this game started. Patrice Evra wearing the captain's armband, and tonight for Manchester United, having had a whole week to think about it, they want to click right back into gear and take advantage of the slip up by Manchester City during the week. Let me give you a rundown of the teams in full. David De Gea, Manchester United goalkeeper. Raphael, Ferdinand, Evans and Evra in defence. In midfield, Jones, Carrick and Scholes, with Valencia and Hernandez supporting top scorer Rooney up front. The Blackburn team, Robinson is the keeper, back four of Orr, Hanley, Dan, Martin Olsen. In midfield, it's Hoylett, Nzonzi, Lowe, Pedersen and Marcus Olsen, and Yakubu is the striker up front. And it looks like Blackburn Rovers will be the team to start this game.
Yeah, I think both teams will play 4-3-3 tonight. I think you'll see probably Wayne Rooney coming over to this left-hand side, just playing off the sides a little bit. He'll not play as an out-and-out left winger, but he'll just play off the side.
Both these sides have lost 3 of their last 6 games in all competitions. Manchester United's 2 defeats were to Athletic Bilbao in the Europa League. We are underway here at Ewood Park, which, let's face it, has been a bogey ground for Manchester United in recent years. The last 12 times that Manchester United have come here in the Premier League, they have only come away with a victory on 2 occasions. But here comes Wayne Rooney, powering up to the halfway line, veering to the right-hand side and quickly feeding Valencia almost to the edge of the penalty area. Here comes the cross, which is cleared away with a diving header off Scott Dan. It'll be collected by Paul Scholes on the left-hand side, and this is a determined start for Manchester United. Scholes short to Carrick in midfield. Pressure put on him by Pedersen, and Carrick turns and plays it back into his own half, and Rio Ferdinand strikes it out towards Evra on the near touchline, well controlled by the Frenchman. Gives it short to Wayne Rooney. At the moment, Hernandez is playing up as the spearheaded striker. Ambitious ball from Scholes towards the far side, easily cut out by Martin Olsen. It was intended for Valencia. Here comes Yakubu on the charge. Couldn't take the ball in his stride. Rio Ferdinand makes the tackle, and Manchester United get moving again into the Blackburn half. Rooney tries to pick out Valencia. Strong interception by Nzonzi. Nzonzi lunges in again, this time on Phil Jones. Ball goes out of play on the far side. First throw into the game for Manchester United.
Confident start from Manchester United. I think this will be how the game will go. United will have all the possession and Blackburn will play on the counter-attack even though they're a home side. And with Hoylett and Yakubu up front, they have got pace up there.
That's the voice of Phil Neville, former Manchester United player, current Everton captain, watching this game with us here on 5 Live. Blackburn 0, Manchester United 0. The early stages in this game with significance at the top and the bottom, and I'm sure as well as fans of Blackburn and Manchester United, we'll have plenty of Manchester City fans and Bolton fans and Queen's Park Rangers and Wigan and Wolves as well. They've all got a vested interest in this one. They'll all be tuned in tonight. Goal kick to Blackburn away to our left hand side, and Paul Robinson prepares to take it. Last time these teams met, remember, Blackburn beat Manchester United at Old Trafford. It was New Year's Eve, Sir Alex Ferguson's 70th birthday. Celebrations were put on hold that day. Nzonzi to the far side, looking for Marcus Olsen, one of the two twins Mike Ingham mentioned before kick-off. Both first team squads on display tonight have got a set of twins. The De Silva brothers, of course, from Manchester United. Fabio not on the bench tonight, but Raphael in the starting team. And both Martin and Marcus Olsen have started the match for Blackburn. Scholes' possession, still no goals. On the halfway line, turns, gives it back to Rio Ferdinand. And this is little Raphael on the far side, gives it up to Phil Jones, former Blackburn player, of course, played here as recently as last season. Valencia tried to encourage Jones to continue that run into the penalty area, ricocheted off a defender's shin, and it's Martin Olsen who comes away with possession, and Blackburn are into the Manchester United half. They won't progress any further though, the ball's been played straight out of play. Yeah, United have got all the domination at the moment. Phil Jones playing in midfield there, even though he's a defensive type player, he loves to bomb forward and cause problems, and at the moment United are full of confidence. Manchester United's run of games sees them play Blackburn tonight, then Queen's Park Rangers, who are the team below Blackburn in the table, then Wigan, who are the team below Queen's Park Rangers. And you know, you look at the table, you think, right, those teams are down there, but recent run of forms, those three teams, Blackburn, Queen's Park Rangers and Wigan, they've all won 2 of their last 3. Long ball towards Yakubu, powerful header into there. Hoylett's going to chase after this one. Everett jumps very high on the edge of the penalty area, and he needed every inch of that leap because he just about got there to nod it back to De Gea. He did, and at the moment Blackburn are playing without a right winger. But they do have got a left winger because it's Marcus Olsen, and he gets around the fullback Raphael. Here comes the cross, too high for both Yakubu and Hoylett in the centre. It'll be scooped back in by Bradley, or Raphael has done well. It was a tricky situation in front of his own goalpost, and he managed to head the ball behind his own head and out for a throw-in to Blackburn on the left-hand side. Been a good start, been a lively start to this match with just 4 minutes play. No, it's been a lively start, and at this stage of the season, 1 point isn't enough. You've got to go for the 3 points, and this is a dangerous set piece now for Blackburn. They're good at these. So preparations being made on the far side. There's a towel out there wiping the ball, but it's not a long throw, it's a short one, and Olsen swings across into the centre, too high for Hoylett, flashed over the head of the ball, and it's going to go out for a throw into Manchester United left full back position. There is an enormous noise inside this ground. We know that Manchester United claimed the title here last year, but 2 years ago they came here and were held to a 0-0 draw, and ultimately dropping those points denied Manchester United the title, having dropped points here at Ewood Park that season. So the fans who've come here in big numbers in support of Manchester United, short journey of course from Manchester, and really getting behind their team tonight, and every single seat taken in the Manchester United end away to our right hand side. That is the end that Alex Ferguson's team are defending. Possession with Raphael, gives it short to Johnny Evans. Pressure from Yakubu, so Evans turns, gives it back to David De Gea. We all remember his mistake at Old Trafford last time these teams met, and Blackburn came away with the win. And back then it seemed De Gea mightn't be Manchester United goalkeeper for much longer. What a ball that is. Up towards Hernandez, hit the penalty area, left foot shot wide. Wayne Rooney's pass from inside his own half, picked out Hernandez in the penalty area. He did brilliantly to control it, and he's picked up an injury trying to get the shot away. Well, that's the threat of Chicharito. He always plays on the shoulder of the defender. Great ball from Wayne Rooney. Grant Hanley tried to play it back to Paul Robinson. Chicharito normally sticks them in the back of the net. Scored twice recently against Wolves, the Mexican, 12 goals for the season. What about that pass from Wayne Rooney? The vision, the execution. I mean, there was two defenders on Hernandez. He was 35 yards away from Rooney, and he played it right onto his instep.
Great pass. I think coming off the left-hand side, you'll see that a lot tonight. But if you watch the run of Chicharito, though, he's always threatening in behind the defenders, and as a defender, that's the worst thing that you can defend with.
Probably wanting to get a few more goals. Will Chicharito, as you call him, Neville Hernandez, as I've been calling him. 12 goals this season for Manchester United. This time last year, he had 17 to his name. Probably not played as many games this time round. Jumping in the centre of midfield is Phil Jones. Helped on. It's one back by Blackburn here. Chance for Marcus Olsen on the left-hand side. All angles covered at the back for Manchester United. Johnny Evans gets it up towards Jones. And Jones has been fouled there by his old teammate Pedersen, and that's going to be a free kick to Manchester United. Still 0-0 on 5 live.
Still 0-0. I must say about Johnny Evans, I think over the last 2 months, I think he's been United's most outstanding defender. I think he's matured, he looks stronger, he looks fitter, and I think the run of games has helped him.
Here comes Rooney again, left-hand side for Manchester United. Gets to midway inside the Blackburn half, sends it across midfield to Jones. Further on now to the right side. This is Valencia, lovely pass. Back to Jones in the penalty area. Rooney swings his boot at it. Couldn't get a clean connection on the ball. And Blackburn with young Jason Lowe were able to come away. That was a very slick build-up.
Slick build-up. It's the second time that Jones has got in on that inside right position.
And you want those chances to fall to Rooney in the penalty area if you're a Manchester United fan. He swung the leg and everything, just couldn't get a clean connection on the ball. I think he two defenders in very close attendance. Hoylett on the ball for Blackburn. I just want to get a feel of it now. Lowe turns and gives it back to Grant Hanley, and across now to Scott Dan. And this is Martin Olsen at left back into midfield to Jason Lowe once again. I think Blackburn just want to calm things down. They've had to absorb a couple of Manchester United chances in the past few minutes. It's Blackburn Rovers 0. Manchester United 0. 8 minutes on the clock if you're just tuned our way here on 5 Live. Big game, big significance, both at the top and at the bottom of the Barclays Premier League table, and Blackburn have run the ball out of play on the far side, and it will be a throw-in for Manchester United's right back, Raphael. His throw is too high for Phil Jones, so possession won back for Blackburn by Nzonzi. Plays a 1-2 on the halfway line with Jason Lowe, gives it back to Lowe once again. It's I was going to say ambitious pass towards the near touchline. He's overstruck it. Bradley Orr was never going to get there, and Manchester United get the throw.
It's a tough job for Bradley Orr tonight because he's got Wayne Rooney in front of him. He's got no Blackburn player outside him. Jason Lowe's playing really inside, man marking Paul Scholes in a way, and Junior Hoylett's playing in behind.
Scholes plays it across the edge of his own penalty area, but there's lots of space, no danger for Johnny Evans. So for the last 4 league meetings between these clubs, Manchester United have taken 3 points. Blackburn have taken 5. That's why United are nervous. Hernandez chases again into the penalty area, but quickly off his line is Paul Robinson. And it's interesting to see Manchester United playing these long balls forward, trying to get in over the top of the 2 central defenders for Blackburn.
Well, that's the strength of Chicharito. He doesn't really want it to feet short. He always spins in behind, playing off the shoulder. And if you've watched United over the last 10-15 years, the first 10-15 minutes they always play the ball long. That creates the space in the midfield for the likes of Paul Scholes and Michael Carrick.
Again, the noise very much evident from away to our right-hand side where the Manchester United fans are housed at Ewood Park tonight. Still 0-0 here. Evra, possession on the left-hand side. He just steps into the Blackburn half and then turns and rolls it back to the feet of Rio Ferdinand. He's not been pressured, so Ferdinand will progress into the Blackburn half. That's a nice ball into the path of Wayne Rooney. Fancies a shot from distance, comes off the heels of Bradley Orr. The loose ball collected by Carrick, and he swings it out to the far side where Valencia's got a little bit of room. He's got Raphael on an overlap, gives it short to Carrick. Carrick picks out Raphael. Big chance for Manchester United, and it was well closed down by Grant Hanley, and there's no shot at the end of it from Raphael. That was a lovely build-up again, and Manchester United continuing to create the chances.
Lovely move there from Man United. It's that inside right position again.
Valencia crosses this time. Hernandez! It hits the post. It comes back into the arms of the goalkeeper Paul Robinson. That is an enormous let-off for the home side here. And drilled low cross from the right-hand side. Delicate touch from the Mexican. I think it hit Robinson, hit the post, and came back into the arms of the goalkeeper.
It was actually a good save by Paul Robinson there. He got a stroke of luck coming off the post, but it's down that right-hand side again. Inside right with Valencia and Raphael. They're causing problems out there.
Blackburn Rovers are having to absorb a lot of pressure here in the opening 11 minutes on 5 Live. Here's Raphael, who's been very involved in coming forward. Plays a 1-2 with Phil Jones, then gives it back infield to Johnny Evans, and Scholes helps it on now. Ferdinand gets involved. Lovely pass again from Ferdinand onto Wayne Rooney in the Blackburn half. United's passing has been very accurate. And this is Patrice Evra in the final third. Left-hand side, that's not a great pass now to Carrick, but he's taken it well. Around Pedersen. Carrick goes for goal, it's too high. Always rising above Paul Robinson's crossbar, still 0-0. Phil Neville.
Another good shot from Michael Carrick. Blackburn are playing so deep at the moment that they're not having an effect on Man United in midfield. They're letting them have possession and pick out any pass that they want.
Just seen a replay again of that Hernandez chance. I think actually it hits the post first, then comes back, hits the elbow of Paul Robinson, and Hernandez can't, but we've just seen a close-up of him on the replay. He can't believe that's not 1-0.
It's another great run from Hernandez. He looks really sharp tonight, making a dart across the near post and a stroke up there by Blackburn, but they need to press higher up the field.
Just for the listeners at home, Wayne Rooney, since kick-off, has been playing as a left winger, really, for Manchester United. Hernandez through the middle. And this man, Phil Jones, has shown plenty eagerness to come forward as well. Right channel at the moment. Infield to Hernandez, lays it off to Valencia. Valencia's ball into the penalty area. Carrick had made a surge, but couldn't get there, couldn't stretch. And Robinson comes off his line and makes the save. But one or two promising attacks for Blackburn in the opening 5 minutes. Since then, it's been backs to the wall stuff for Steve Keane's team.
Backs to the wall, and I don't think Blackburn can cope with the movement of the Man United midfield or forwards.
Are Blackburn Rovers feeling a gravitational pull from the relegation zone below them? Only goals scored, not even goals difference. Goals scored is keeping Blackburn Rovers out of the relegation zone, and that means should they lose tonight by any margin, they would drop into the bottom 3. It would lift Queen's Park Rangers up this evening, so big night for Rangers fans listening in. A free kick here is awarded to Manchester United inside their own half. Foul on the former Blackburn man Jones.
I think Steve Keane's made a tactical change there. He's brought Pedersen out to the right wing and pushed Jason Lowe into the middle. I think he's worried about that inside right channel, Jones running through there, and obviously Patrice Evra getting all the possession out on the left.
And down there on the touchline alongside Steve Keane, his assistant Eric Black, who played for Alex Ferguson at Aberdeen as a youngster. He even scored the opening goal in their 2-1 victory against Real Madrid in the European Cup Winners' Cup final in 1983. So those two go back quite a long way. Eric Black in football, since playing alongside or at least under Alex Ferguson, he's never managed to beat Ferguson either as a player or assistant in all the years that he's come up against him since he wasn't on the staff at Blackburn when Rovers won at Old Trafford at New Year's Eve. He just joined in January. That's lovely vision from Jones to release Valencia right hand side for Manchester United. Valencia into the penalty area. The defenders were standing off him. Low cross comes in. Grant Hanley clears it away, and only as far as Raphael on the far side. It's still 0-0 here at Ewood Park, but Manchester United utterly dominant at the moment as Martin Olsson clears the ball away off the shins of Valencia. Good defensive work because he's won a throw-in for his team. Left full-back position for Blackburn.
They're totally dominating possession at the moment. I don't think Blackburn can deal with the interchanging. Wayne Rooney coming off the left-hand side is causing all sorts of problems, and they can't deal with the movement of Chicharito.
Manchester United looking for their 10th win in 11 league games. They've had the chances already here. They've hit the woodwork, but still scoreless. There's a Hoylett stretches in midfield and he loses out in a shoulder charge with Raphael. Manchester United move it to the left side. This is Patrice Evra. Well, they've backed off him again here, so Evra lunges into a bit of space himself, lays it back to Carrick. Carrick's vision picks out Valencia on the right hand side. Back into Michael Carrick once more. Flicked on now to Scholes, who just stretches out his right leg, can't get a touch of the ball. Manchester United will hold on to possession, but they're now back inside their own half.
And Blackburn can't get a foot in the game at the moment. Every time, because they're playing so deep, they play the ball forward. Yakubu's up there on his own.
Last 3 games in a row before tonight, Phil, Steve Keane played the exact same starting 11, and it involved 2 up front, 4 in midfield. Tonight, presumably, bearing in mind who he's playing against, he's gone for the 5 in midfield, but not sure if it's suiting Blackburn here.
But it's not working at the moment because they can't get out their own half, and they're letting Man United get all the possession. They've not been able to tackle yet, I don't think.
No. Quarter of an hour played at Ewood Park. Wayne Rooney, deep position inside the centre circle, just drifts a pass to the far side, controlled by Raphael. Valencia gets it. Look at the room here for Scholes. Blackburn are not being tight at all in midfield. Raphael to Valencia, who can steady himself, then sends in the cross just too high for Wayne Rooney. And Blackburn Rovers are going to get punished here sooner rather than later, because time after time Manchester United are getting balls into the box and they're being allowed to. There's no tackles, as Phil says, coming in the central third. There's nobody trying to stop crosses. Valencia's got the whole of the right side there to put that ball in the back of the net. And I think what Blackburn need to do, they're expending so much energy chasing the ball at the moment. They need to regroup and try and stay in the game for a bit, else they're going to start conceding goals. Again, it's Patrice Evra who comes forward for Manchester United, left-hand side, rolls it along the halfway line here to Phil Jones. Jones gets it back again from Scholes. And Rooney on the left-hand side. Not one tackle coming in for Blackburn. Jones lunges forward. Now a challenge comes in Nzonzi on Jones. That's better from Blackburn. And Scholes gets it back again, though, inside the centre circle. Short to Wayne Rooney. 3 teammates ahead of him. It's well cut out by Grant Hanley. Up to the halfway line. Yakubu's flick off is immaculate to Hoyland. Rides one challenge. This is Junior Hoyland. He's a long way out. Goes for goal, and David De Gea dives to his left-hand side and makes a save. Blackburn's best chance of the game. Didn't Junior Hoyland hit that very well? He hit that really well. Great pass up to Yakubu. Great layup from Yakubu. And first time we've seen Junior Hoyland get in behind Michael Carrick there, and it was a good save from De Gea at the end. Junior Hoyland has scored 6 times in the Premier League this season. I mean, he was a long way out. It needed to be a spectacular strike, but it was heading for the top corner. It needed to be saved. It was heading for the top corner, and it's the first time they've got any quality service up to Yakubu. I was at White Hart Lane yesterday, Tottenham's win against Swansea, and Brad Friedel, who turns 41 next month, made a stunning save to deny Sigurdsson. It was just before Sigurdsson's goal. Beautiful shot towards the postage stamp corner, and Friedel looked like a goalkeeper half his age as he lunged himself and made a fingertip save. And this was equally as dramatic from David De Gea here at Ewood Park tonight. Rooney's on the ball for Manchester United, plays over towards the far side, intercepted by Martin Olsen, and that's out for a Manchester United throw. Taken by Rafa. Some space for Michael Carrick, centre of the park. Gives it to the near side. United's left for Evra. Evra puts it one side of Pedersen, runs around the other, and then a strong challenge comes in from Bradley Orr, and that's been put out for a Manchester United throw. Phil Neville. Well, we've seen 2 tackles in the last 2 minutes, one on Phil Jones and now one on Patrice Evra. They're getting closer to Man United now. They need to break the rhythm, because at the moment United are totally dominating possession. Coming up on Wednesday night, we've got Chelsea's Champions League game against Benfica. Full commentary here on 5 Live. Tonight we're at Ewood Park watching Blackburn Rovers 0, Manchester United 0. And 19 minutes on the clock. And Raphael plays it safely back to Johnny Evans inside the Manchester United half. Manchester United dominating possession in the early stages. Back heel from Hernandez, won't find Wayne Rooney, and it's cleared away from a right full-back position by Bradley Orr long into the Manchester United half. But Yakubu on his own up there, and it means that it's not long before Manchester United regain possession. Scooped forward, just up into the air by Michael Carrick, down onto the instep of Wayne Rooney. He lays it off to his right-hand side to Scholes. Again, Manchester United look for the right-hand side, and the option of Valencia. He'll give it back into Scholes again, across midfield to Michael Carrick. Now the ball towards the penalty area. Hernandez tried to gather it and turn all in one motion. He very nearly turned the defender. Now Evra controls on the left-hand side, just on the edge of the penalty area. Low cross into the box from Patrice Evra, not the most accurate. Doesn't find a teammate, and Blackburn can clear it away to Yakubu. Again, United dominating all the possession, 15-20 passes at a time, and Blackburn can't get out their own half at the moment. It's the voice of Phil Neville, the Everton captain, alongside us in the commentary box here at Ewood Park tonight, who's doubling as a ticket tout as well these days, the amount of requests he's getting for Wembley FA Cup semi-final tickets. Here comes Hoylett into the penalty area for Blackburn, back to Pedersen, decent cross into the centre, but Evans is underneath it for Manchester United. And it may be just a little bit of a reminder there for Alex Ferguson's team that Blackburn can create a few chances of their own. I think Junior Hoylett is the one. He looks like he's got the confidence to run at the United defenders. I think what we're seeing now, we're seeing the benefit of United having no game for a week. They look fresh, they look hungry, they look bright, and they look like they're really up for this game tonight. And no cup commitments either for Manchester United, which does seem a rarity at this stage of the season for Manchester United not to be involved in Europe or indeed
they're not used to, I would have thought.
Exactly. So this is Raphael on the far side, plays it infield to Rio Ferdinand once again. And Blackburn resolved to this 5-man midfield and try to cut off Manchester United a bit more at source than they have been doing in the game. Scholes gives it to the near touchline again. Patrice Evra studs on the ball. Low infield to Wayne Rooney. Rooney playing really more as a midfielder than a striker in this match so far. Carrick picks out Patrice Evra, back into Carrick once again, and it's back with Rio Ferdinand, who did pick up that back injury against Fulham in Manchester United's last match. There was a little question mark as to whether he'd be able to start tonight, but maybe that's the advantage, as Phil mentioned, of having a whole week to recuperate before your next game. Blackburn cleared away, and once again you can hear the groans because there's no one up there for them. They clear it into the Manchester United half, and even Yakubu there was in his own half.
Yes, Steve Keane screaming at the back four then to get 5-10 yards further up the pitch.
Manchester United want to throw on the far side, but the referee's assistant says it's Blackburn's throw-in up towards Yakubu, and I think he had a bit of a case there as he went to ground underneath the challenge. Blackburn wanted a free kick. Referee Howard Webb said no, and Manchester United have it, and Ferdinand picks it up pass to Valencia on the far side, picked up by Nzonzi now. Look how quickly Nzonzi is closed down by both Scholes and Valencia. He's done well, actually, the young Frenchman, to hold on to it here. He's long spidery legs and he's got good close touch control, and he gives it to Olsen. But then same old story, Blackburn clear it long into their opponent's half and immediately lose possession. We've already played a quarter of this match. Manchester United being held 0-0 away from home at Blackburn, and Mike Ingham will now talk you through to half-time.
Well, it is effectively a home game for Manchester United in the sense that they have the ball and Blackburn are having to play on the counter-attack. But that moment from Junior Hoilett was a bit of a wake-up call for Manchester United. They can be dangerous, can't it? To get too sucked in and to get caught on a counter like that.
Exactly. I think at times like this you need your dominance to start turning into goals, and United are at that time now where they probably need to, they need to score, because Junior Hoilett's had two instances where he's given them a problem.
Free kick to Manchester United, foul on Rooney. It's been interesting to watch Phil Jones, who's playing ahead of Carrick and Scholes in the Manchester United midfield, even though of course he's a defensive player essentially. And now it's Scholes. Scholes patiently finding Patrice Evra down this near side. Evra gets away from his marker and plays the ball into central midfield. Scholes could have taken a shot, but instead floats it to the far side to Valencia, and United are given offside. The one thing that will not happen, though, you won't get any panic here from Manchester United, will you? They seem to be in complete control in terms. They're not fazed by this at all, Phil, are they?
No, they actually enjoy situations like this. When it gets to April, their experience, of Rio Ferdinand, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, they train all year for this moment. And one thing I will say is Alex Ferguson's been in the technical area for the first 10-15 minutes, so he knows how important this victory is.
Well, Steve Keane's been there ever since the start, making hand signals down there. This is 5 Live. Phil Neville with us at Ewood Park. Blackburn 0, Manchester United 0. Raphael wins his header, but the ball just for once comes to a Blackburn player inside the centre circle. Blackburn are playing from left to right here, attacking the Darwin end, away to our right. And now Pedersen, who's changed his position since the start of the game. Left-footed ball seeking out Yakubu, but it's too long, and it goes away for a goal kick to Manchester United. It's the first time I've been, by the way, since the Blackburn end. Away to the left I see is now the Ronnie Clayton Blackburn end, which is a great gesture. I was fortunate to meet Ronnie Clayton a couple of times through Jimmy Armfield, and he was a legendary player here, captain of England as well. Was part of the great 1960 team which got to the FA Cup final. So it's really good that his name lives on here at Ewood Park. Ball into the Blackburn half. Rooney gets up well, but Blackburn should tidy up here. And Orr, who was a transfer deadline capture from Queen's Park Rangers, switches the ball back, and Blackburn just nudging it now back into the United half. But it's a good leap from Johnny Evans. Not controlled though by Jones in midfield. And now it's Marcus Olsen down the left-hand side looking for his twin brother. And I'm so pleased they're wearing different coloured boots, by the way, those two. It really helps the commentators out. And now it's Michael Carrick onto Rooney. Rooney turns and with the outside of his foot feeds the captain Evra near side. Here comes another Manchester United attack. Evra approaches the penalty area and knocks it back to Rooney. Rooney looking to flick it in for Hernandez. Blackburn have the centre-backs in position, and now Hoilett looking to cross the halfway line, finding Nzonzi, who's just sitting in front of the back four protecting tonight. Here come Blackburn, and Nzonzi has it on the halfway line. Lowe, who's changed positions this evening, gone from right back into now central midfield. Blackburn just enjoying a feel of having the ball at the moment. Grant Hanley, the man who got the winning goal at Old Trafford to spoil Fergie's 70th birthday, the 3-2 win last day of last year. And now Hanley once more lets Nzonzi take over. It's 0-0 at Ewood Park. And the ball now is with Pedersen. Pedersen's ball in towards Hoylett. Hoylett receives and then feeds it back. It's very slow though, the pace here from Blackburn Rovers. United have everybody apart from Hernandez back behind the ball. In comes Scholes to try and win it. Good balance though by Hoylett once more. Seems to be the most dangerous player early on here for Manchester United, the Blackburn player Hoylett. Blackburn still have it without really penetrating. Now they go back into their own half.
Yeah, they've 10 or 15 passes together, but they're not going anywhere. They can't get the ball into Yakubu, then Hoylett can run off him.
By the way, that 3-2 defeat over Christmas, I think Carrick played centre-half that day. They had problems at the back, Manchester United, and now Carrick, very much in central midfield, feeds Evra down this left-hand side. Hernandez jogs around in the penalty area. Still Evra up against Pedersen, and pushed over by Pedersen, was he? No, referee Howard Webb was happy. Evra's appealing. Blackburn have the possession, and Blackburn clear. High one towards Yakubu. He won't get that, neither will Ferdinand. And Evans now reclaims possession for Manchester United. Manchester United 0-0 here at Blackburn. Rio Ferdinand now for them. Nobody from Blackburn coming towards him, so he enters the Blackburn half and now finds Evra once more. Just like the game last Monday night against Fulham. United getting all of the possession. Long one to the far side towards Valencia. Valencia can't get the better of Olsen. The two Swedish internationals there. The two Olsens together sky the ball out of play, and it's going to be a Manchester United throw-in. Raphael takes it. Back to Jones, and now Raphael has to scramble a bit. Valencia gets away from the defenders. Valencia in the penalty area. Look, will try and turn, then the challenge came in. Blackburn still have to clear this. Jones puts the pressure on, and in the end too much pressure because the free kick is given against him.
It's the second or third time in that inside right position that Antonio Valencia has gone. He looks the most dangerous, threatening player for Man United at the moment. It looks like one of those games tonight where Blackburn are going to be camped on the edge of their own on the edge of their own box, and United have to be patient.
Story goes, of course, that Jones, playing for Blackburn, excelled in that 7-1 defeat at Old Trafford. I think Sir Alex Ferguson was impressed the way he just kept going that day, and that was one of the reasons why he was attracted to him. What do you make of him as a midfield player, Phil?
I think there's times when he looks inexperienced in there, but what I do like in there, and I think it's why he's playing tonight, he's got great energy. And I know, speaking to a lot of the United boys, he is. They say he's going to be the next United captain. He's a good leader, he's a good talker, and he's got a old head on young shoulders.
Blackburn trying their luck down the left-hand side. United immediately get the players back to cover, and now it's the man we were talking about, Jones. One of the Blackburn players is Yakubu, I think, down on his haunches, just has a problem, and Howard Webb wasn't quite sure, and he, of course, is the man who has to stop the game. The players don't have to stop it, and he has stopped the game. Blackburn will throw the ball back to Manchester United, so Yakubu can receive attention. What do you make of the balance of things just at the moment?
Well, I think United are totally dominating the possession, aren't they? I think they're creating the extra man in midfield, and I think at the moment, tactically, Blackburn don't know what to do.
Well, Roberto Mancini's forecast a draw here tonight. At the moment, he's right. By the way, when United lost to Blackburn, and the very next day, City had the opportunity to really cash in and lost at Sunderland. So it was immediately really nullified, that defeat by Blackburn in terms of the championship race. Now it's Patrice Evra of United. Hernandez makes the run. It's very deep to the far post, and the defender, taking no chances, concedes the corner. Jones acknowledges the cross, and Valencia is already in position to take this corner, and Johnny Evans makes his way forward into the penalty area away to our left. Got his first goal for United recently at Wolves. 3 times this season United have scored 5 times away from home. In comes the corner kick. Evans heads it down. Evans will have a chance here, and he hits it right along the ground, and it was too soft in the end, and Robinson easily gathers it in for Blackburn Rovers.
Well, he hasn't got the best goal scoring record, Johnny Evans, but he did score in the last away game, I think, at Wolves. So
it's been a big contrast this season for United away from home. Last season they won 5 times away from home. This season already they've won 11 times, and it was a year ago today. I was at the game when it was quite a game at West Ham when they were 2-0 down at half-time. They won it 4-2. Rooney got a hat-trick and then, of course, talked himself into trouble and was suspended for 2 games. He over-celebrated, running towards that television microphone. That was exactly a year ago today. That was quite a battle. West Ham, of course, were battling for their lives. They had a couple of penalties, I remember, before the break. United were forced all the way in that match, and Blackburn Rovers will hope to do the same here. It's a throw to Blackburn over on the far side. and they can be very dangerous from set pieces. In the last 2 games they've scored goals from long throws taken by Pedersen, and here comes the latest one. It's a chance to get bodies in the penalty area. Yakubu's recovered from the injury, and he's in that 6-yard area away to our right. Big long throw then for Blackburn Rovers. Testing moment perhaps for De Gea. No, headed away by Carrick. United still have to clear this. It was worked into the penalty area and they still haven't cleared it. Blackburn charging down that left hand side. They still have 3 or 4 players waiting for it to come in, and then in the end, when it does come in, it's an easy catch for De Gea.
I think in a game like this, a set piece, a long throw in a corner is going to be Blackburn's best chance of scoring, because apart from that, United are going to have all the possession.
Phil Neville, Everton captain, and obviously formerly of Manchester United, winning Premier League titles with them, here at Ewood Park on this Monday night. Manchester United at the moment being contained, but though by Blackburn, 0-0. A game they have to look to win, obviously. Interestingly, their run of 4 games coming up, including this one against all teams threatened by relegation, as Wayne Rooney has possession and finds Scholes. But the other interesting thing about United's next 7 games, including this one, they're all in this area. There is no travelling at all involved for Manchester United, as the ball is dinked into the penalty area, headed away by Blackburn, whereas Manchester City have to go on their travels. I think United's only game left where they'll have to leave the Northwest will be the final game at Sunderland. By then, of course, they will hope to have wrapped the title up. Here come United, building down the right-hand side. Good running from Raphael. He goes down under the challenge, and Blackburn still to clear by the corner flag, and still to clear. And it goes down the line, and it's too short, but it must have gone out of play, and the linesman flags for a Blackburn Rovers throw-in. Phil?
Mike Valencia plays like a good old-fashioned winger. He hugs that touchline out there, and he looks like the best avenue for United to penetrate tonight.
And the luxury of the resources in the squad too, when you think there's no Nani, there's no Ashley Young this evening. Giggs is on the bench. Incredibly deep squad, but it's still a squad that, I don't know, still may need a little adding to it in terms of the Champions League next season. That really is, of course, what ultimately Manchester United will want to be about, and they really haven't distinguished themselves this season in Europe. But here they are, flying once more in the Premier League, and it's Evra with a neat ball into Jones, not Rooney. Back again to Evra. Rooney's waiting in the penalty area. Scholes calls for it and then drills it to Valencia down the right-hand side. Real promise here for United. In comes a cross from Valencia, headed wide in the end by Jones, and headed well wide in the end, but it was a typical Manchester United move. It
was a great ball from Paul Scholes out to Valencia, and when we talk about Valencia, he hugs the touchline, great ball in. And Phil Jones, who, like we said before, he shows that energy to get into the box. He is a threat from crosses.
34 minutes gone in the first half. Blackburn Rovers 0, Manchester United 0. So far the City fans will be reasonably content, but an awful long way to go in this game.
I must say, Mike, the pitch looks perfect out there for this stage of the season.
That's been one of the things that's really changed over the years while I've been doing this. We get to April and May, and some of the pitches in the 80s in particular were scandalous, but this one, as Phil Neville is saying, is a lovely top, and it's a perfect evening for football. Raphael now again. Valencia's waiting to be served down the right-hand side. Rooney's made a big run into the penalty area. Cross came in, took a deflection, needs to be headed away here by Blackburn. Raphael, though, looking for Hernandez, who was waiting for it. United now with Carrick find Valencia. Valencia on the edge of the penalty area. Raphael sweeps it in to near Robinson once more.
Again, it's that right-hand side. I think it was Yakubu actually who played the ball back into Valencia's path. The cross needs to be better from that right-hand side, and if they get it right, they'll score a goal.
And now United get back behind the ball, and Hoylett runs ahead of Yakubu this time to try and challenge Johnny Evans. Evans does well, heads it down, and Jones completes the clearance, and Blackburn Rovers lose the ball cheaply on the halfway line. Scholes, typical Scholes, really patient, sizing up the best option, and eventually United once more, if in doubt, give it to Scholes again. Scholes now, lovely one to the far side of the field, finds Raphael down the line to Valencia. United once more dominating the possession, but in a sense being frustrated here by Blackburn Rovers because they haven't been able to open them up yet. Scholes on the halfway line, Sir Alex Ferguson in the technical area. It's always a bit of a sign if things are perhaps not going completely right, that you see Sir Alex down there. And now a long one towards Evra, and in comes the challenge from Bradley Orr. Pedersen keeps it in, and then it goes out of play. I mean, is that right? If Fergie comes out, does that mean there's just something that's not quite right?
I think what he's signalling to there. He's signalling to the Handers to keep stretching in behind the two centre backs. Early on in the game, the first 5 minutes, he made darts in behind and he nearly got in there.
Just seeing Roberto Martinez here, the Wigan manager. I think his next, of course, he's playing Manchester United, isn't he, at home? But his next 3 games are not in this order, but they play Chelsea and Arsenal away and Manchester United at home. So it was a good thing from his point of view, maybe, that he beat Stoke at the weekend. Very much in the fight here with Blackburn. Long ball downfield. Jones has gone down off the ball, and a free kick immediately given by Howard Webb. Protesting is Nzonzi. While we're mentioning Howard Webb, I'd like to mention Peter Walton, who of course finished in the Premier League as a referee in your match, didn't he? The Everton.
He's one of my favourite referees, Peter Walton. You couldn't get away with things, but he wasn't picky in his decisions. You could make a tackle. He talked to you on the pitch, and I think he'll be sorely missed. The
best thing about him probably was the fact that we didn't mention him many times.
Exactly.
I mean, they're the best referees, aren't they? They let the game continue as well. He was always very good at that. And now Scholes onto Rooney. Rooney's coming deep this time, looking for the ball, and then arrows it to the far side of the field. This time it's Rafael ahead of Valencia. In comes across. Hernandez jumps at the near post. Robinson punches it away and did well, the goalkeeper. Evans comes in quickly though for Manchester United. Evans finding Valencia again, and Evans joining in the movement. 0-0 here at Ewood Park. In towards Rafael. Awkward ball to control, and he couldn't. It ricochets away from him, and Paul Robinson comes out once more, the Blackburn captain. Remember, this is a Blackburn defence that lost Samba and Nelson this season, and now we have the young Scottish international Hanley alongside the former Birmingham defender Dam. 0-0. Carrick and Scholes, but almost lost that to Hoylett, but now Carrick's got it and feeds Scholes. Made such a difference to Carrick, I'm sure, having Scholes back alongside him in midfield. Carrick again for Rafael, and a lovely ball from Rafael now, moving it forward to Carrick. Carrick lifts it to this near side. Rooney won't get that. It'll be headed away by Orr, but he can only find Evra, and Manchester United back in possession once more as both of the managers watch on there in their technical areas. Evra now coming in field, away from Pedersen. Into midfield it goes to Carrick. Rooney still lurking down this left hand side. Scholes will know that, but instead plays it down the right, and Valencia has possession. Now Rooney's in the penalty area. Valencia approaching his fullback, drills the ball in towards Scholes. Scholes can't get that. Blackburn really struggling to clear this. Now here comes a counter-attack from the home side, and Nzonzi just forced to check because Rooney did really well to come and hold him up. And now they bustle forward with Martin Olsen, and he goes down under Valencia's challenge, and Howard Webb was satisfied that he was fouled. He gives a free kick and shows a yellow card to Valencia.
Well, I think when Nzonzi broke, then he was looking for Junior Hoylett to make a run in behind, but because they're expending so much energy in the defensive third, Blackburn need to get a footing in the game. Martin Olsen needs to get tighter on that right hand side and block the crosses from Valencia, and we've got a set piece now from Blackburn. I think this is probably their best hope of scoring.
Yes, I'm sure, and I'm sure that Steve Keane will think that too, and it is a chance for them to send Hanley forward from the back, and Nzonzi's probably the tallest player on the field, and he's in there as well. Yakubu, obviously, who has this fantastic record wherever he's played, of a goal every 2 games. Free kick, it's poorly delivered by Pedersen. I don't know whether he slipped on a little bit of early evening dew here, but he just didn't get that right. He just knocked it straight flat at the United player, and what an opportunity he missed, Phil.
What an opportunity. I don't think he slipped, Mike. I think when you get opportunities like Blackburn have there, it's probably their only chance of scoring a goal tonight, and yet the first man. Steve Keane will be livid with that.
Now Rooney. Keane points, Steve Keane that is, trying to help his players from the touchline as Evra finds Rooney. Rooney just forced to check and then given back to to Jones, and Jones once more playing in midfield this evening. If you haven't been with us from the start, Jones up against his former team, Rooney and Scholes, but it's Blackburn 0, Manchester United 0, and we played 40 minutes of the first half. In comes Valencia now. So far so good for City tonight, I guess, as Valencia now forced to run square at the moment. Feeds Jones. Hernandez waits patiently. Manchester United with Rooney. Little floater to the far side. And here's Rafael now down the right-hand side. In comes the cross, headed away by Hanley. Only as far as Valencia. United once more. Jones is calling for it. That would be a very ambitious ball to find him. Instead it goes to Hernandez, right edge of the area. And now lovely movement once more. Shot is charged down. Carrick's appealing for a handball. He's looking at the linesman. Howard Webb's given a corner.
My initial thoughts there was handball. Whether Scott Can could have done anything about it, I'm not sure, but I think it struck his hand.
Well, Evra, the captain, is talking as he's allowed to, the captain to the referee, but nothing given. No penalty, no handball. Corner kick to Manchester United, headed wide, and it's still in play, and Carrick has chased well here. Danger not cleared. It's headed away at the near post by Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn Rovers now might try and counter-attack. When they lay it forward, there was a foul on Unzonzi. Howard Webb will call the play back and give Blackburn the free kick. No, it wasn't Unzonzi. It was Lowe who was brought down. Yeah. He's calling Scholes over, Howard Webb. Was he the guilty party there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not for the first time.
Right. He knew what he was about, though. You're getting a replay of the... Have you seen it yet? What do you think?
I think it would have been harsh if he'd have given that. I think it struck his elbow. Scott Dan knew nothing about it.
So no penalty, no handball. Paul Scholes maybe on the last warning in terms of yellow cards now from Howard Webb. And Blackburn Rovers have the free kick, which Robinson, the goalkeeper, will take. And we've got about 2.5 minutes of the first half left. Blackburn Rovers 0, Manchester United 0 on 5 Live. Long ball forward, and it's Rooney heading it away, appealing for his, and he's got it. Rooney appealing that the header went off a Blackburn player, and it's going to be a Manchester United throw-in, Evra to take. Well, Blackburn Rovers, as Phil Neville was telling us at the start of the programme, is always a difficult fixture for Manchester United. They haven't taken it by the scruff of the neck at all, and if Blackburn can get to half-time intact, Phil, they'll feel pretty confident, won't they?
Yeah, I think obviously United's bench is strong. They can bring Giggs, they can bring Ashley Young on, Welbeck on, but Blackburn are stuck in this game, and that's what they need to do. They're playing the best team in England at the moment, and they just need to stick in this game. And they get to half-time 0-0. I think Steve Keane will be well delighted.
Yes, it's a big couple of minutes now. This could really influence things in the dressing rooms at half-time, as Jones appeals for handball. It is given by Howard Webb. So a really big couple of minutes. Blackburn have done very well. They've worked very hard. But now Manchester United sensing something on maybe just before half-time. Rooney getting away from Pedersen. Rooney onto Carrick and now Scholes. United have got a big blue and white wall facing them, though. All the Blackburn players, even Yakubu now back inside his own half. Scholes, little dink ball into Rooney, and now Hernandez, good footwork onto Rooney. Rooney forward, almost got that through to Hernandez. Blackburn have to be careful on the edge of their own penalty area. Unzonzi was, and then gives it away, and really needed to retain that. Jones for Rooney, loving to go into these deep positions. Rooney can't get that through to Valencia, very tight, and Blackburn hack the ball downfield. A big chase on now between Yakubu and the United defenders. Yakubu does very well, feeds it to Hoylett. Hoylett's got pace. Hoylett approaches the penalty area, step over, a shot. Evans manages to clear, and then Lowe trying to get on the end of it. And Blackburn Rovers really responding well there.
They did respond well. How many times have we seen this half where Junior Hoylett looks the one that could cause Man United problems? We've seen it over the years when a team dominates and then concedes a goal late on.
Out comes the towel. The ball is dried. Pedersen will hurl this one forward into the Manchester United penalty area. De Gea, who's been showing much better judgment just lately, prepares. In goes the throw, and De Gea got a fist to it. It's still inside the Manchester United area. Not cleared. Oh, what a great save! What a fantastic save from De Gea. It was Olsen. It was Marcus Olsen, I think, who got the shot in. It was an absolute screamer from the edge of the penalty area, and that's the second brilliant save. In fact, it was such a good save, Yakubu's congratulating him.
It was an unbelievable save. It wasn't the best punch initially from the long throw-in, but what a great save. Great strike from Marcus Olsen, and that's kept Man United in the game.
But he made a great save earlier from Hoylett. So despite all of their possession, Blackburn have had a couple of thrilling moments, and De Gea has kept it 0-0. In comes the another save from De Gea. The header came in for Blackburn Rovers. It was Hanley this time, the man, of course, who got the goal at Old Trafford. And Blackburn are ending the first half, applying great pressure on the United goal here. They have another corner over on the left-hand side.
I think for all United's dominance this half, it's Blackburn who's had the best opportunities to score, and that's 3 great saves now from De Gea.
Hanley waiting. De Gea has a Blackburn player standing in front. Oh, a poorly delivered corner, which Valencia heads out of the penalty area. Danger not yet completely clear. Howard Webb, rather, comes to United's rescue. by blowing the half-time whistle, and there in a nutshell you had it all really here. Danger for Manchester United despite their domination in terms of possession.
United had all the possession. You expect that when you're Blackburn Rovers and you're down at the bottom league. United have possession, but Blackburn have sent 3 warnings now to Man United that if they don't score a goal, they've had 3 great chances, probably the best chances of the game so far, and I think Steve Keane will be probably the happiest of the 2 managers.
Thank you, Phil. We go back to Mark, and in the build-up to this game, Sir Alex Ferguson was talking a lot about David De Gea, about the progress he's made since that unfortunate game he had against Blackburn the last time the sides met, and he's really stood up firm with a couple of fantastic saves in that first half. So it's Blackburn 0, Manchester United.
Certainly has. He kept them in it there, didn't he, Phil, at the end?
He definitely did. He looks stronger. He looks more of a presence now than what he did at the start of the season. He's obviously got bags of confidence now, and 3 great saves.
It was interesting because for the first 20 minutes, despite both sides playing with 3 central midfielders, Blackburn couldn't really get close to Manchester United. Manchester United always had an extra man, and yet the last 20 minutes or so they seem to deal better with it. Any particular reason why? Well,
I think they got a little bit closer. I think early on in the game, first 20 minutes they didn't make a tackle, they didn't get close, they didn't have an effect on the game, and then for the last 10-15 minutes they started affecting Man United by making tackles and getting better service up to Yakubu.
And for the moment, would you keep... Blackburn will presumably be very happy with how they're done. From a Manchester United point of view, is one of those midfield 3 maybe expendable for an Ashley Young maybe, or a Danny Welbeck to come on?
Well, I think if it stays at 0-0, I think you'll definitely see the introduction of Danny Welbeck. I think Ashley Young will come on because United need to win this game. I think they see this as pivotal in their title running. So I think 10-15 more minutes, but it's still 0-0. Alex Ferguson will know that the warning signs have been there and he'll make a change.
Thanks very much, Phil. Phil Neville, Mike Ingham and Conor McNamara back for the second half here at Ewood Park. During half-time, 5 Live Football League. Mark Clement is on the way after Faye Rusko with the BBC News.
Rolls Peterson down the pitch. He's called him. No. And I'm afraid that's a very poor shot.
Why does Kevin Peterson feel he has to come down and try and hit it?
Sri Lanka face England. The second test
starts Tuesday from 5:15
on 5 Live Sports Extra. 5 Live sister service available exclusively digitally.
Where's this going? Down towards the boundary. Good connection from Jonathan Trott, and there's his 100.
To find out how to receive 5 Live Sports Extra, click bbc.co.uk/5live. bbc.co.uk/5live.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Several people are reported to have been shot after a gunman opened fire at a Christian university in California. Police say there have been fatalities at Oikos University in the city of Oakland. Let's get more from our correspondent Paul Adams, who's in Washington. What can you tell us, Paul?
Now, this episode seems to have taken place just about a couple of hours ago. It's not quite clear whether this was a student at this religious institution. This is a religious institution which seems to function largely for the local Korean population. It teaches theology, music, nursing and Asian medicine. There was one report that suggested that the gunman stood up in the middle of class and started shooting wildly all around him. The police had a slightly different account suggesting that the gunman arrived on campus and began shooting. But there have been reports in the last 10 minutes or so that the death toll could be as high as 5. And it has also been widely reported that the police now have a gunman in custody. So it may well be that the situation is essentially over, but that whole campus there in eastern Oakland, across the bay from San Francisco, has now been cordoned off. Students have been evacuated, and the police are obviously going through it to make sure that there aren't further signs of trouble. There was one early report of 2 gunmen. I think that's been probably discounted, but clearly the police have got a lot of work still to do.
Paul Adams in Washington, thank you very much for joining us. A teenager's been sentenced to 16 years after killing his mother with a hammer. Daniel Bartlam was 14 when he carried out the attack at his home in Nottingham. The president of Argentina is demanding talks on sovereignty over the Falkland Islands. Speaking on the 30th anniversary of the invasion, President Kirchner called Britain's stance over the islands absurd. The retail motor industry, which represents petrol stations, is warning that fuel shortages could continue into the Easter weekend and beyond. The RMI says between 30 and 50% of stations had run out of some fuel. Quick look on the roads now. One lane is shut on the M6 northbound at Preston in Lancashire. That's between junction 30 at the M61 and junction 31 at Preston New Road. That's because of a broken down vehicle. In Wadden in Croydon, the A23 Purley Way Road southbound is shut. That's between Miller Road and Beddington Farm Road. There has been an accident there and it is causing lots of congestion. There are also roadworks further down the road causing even more problems, so traffic is very heavy there. Avoid the area if you can. Faye Rusco, 5 Live Travel.
5 Live Sports.
The Monday Night Club with Mark Chapman.
Sport headlines this evening. Gavin Henson has been sacked by Cardiff Blues with immediate effect for his drunken behaviour on a post-match flight from Glasgow to Cardiff on Saturday morning. The England and Leicester scrum half Ben Youngs has been banned for 1 week for striking London Irish forward James Gibson in a Premiership match last month. The Wolves chief executive Jez Moxey says he stands by the decision to appoint Terry Connor as Mick McCarthy's replacement. Wolves now 6 adrift at the bottom of the Premier League. Sam Allardyce will remain in charge at West Ham whether they get promoted to the top flight or not. That's according to the club's vice chairman Karen Brady. Rangers owner Craig White says he's been taking extra precautions after being warned by police that he could be targeted by fans angry at his part in the financial collapse of the club. And England selector Ashley Giles has warned skipper Andrew Strauss is a dangerous man to write off ahead of tomorrow's second test against Sri Lanka in Colombo. Full commentary as ever from 5:15 on 5 Live Sports Extra.
5 Live Football League
with Mark Chapman.
And Mark Clement joins me. We'll get on to the most astonishing story of the weekend, and that is of Preston's team tactics being leaked in League One. But we have to start at the top of the Championship table because it's been a key weekend, Mark, with West Ham in particular missing an opportunity to go above second place Reading.
Well, you read the response from Karen Brady, didn't you, about a minute ago, that he'll still be there next season regardless. That kind of fits in. I went to see him last week, Football Focus, and he said, look, as far as he's concerned, it's a 2-year job and contract, and that's what he's been told by the two, David Sullivan and Gull. But 4-point gap with 6 games to go, and it's hugely deflating, chappers, isn't it? You know, when you think you can go 2 points clear of your rivals and back into the top 2, and then suddenly realise you've got another 3 weeks of your season potentially. And obviously this style issue just will not go away. I mean, it's obviously frustrating the club, it's frustrating Sam, but it's ever more so it's going to come up when you're falling short of your objectives.
Well, it's the home form that's the problem, isn't it?
Well,
they'd drawn 6 on the spin going into the game against Reading.
Well, they hadn't won at home since the start of February, and let's be honest as well, 6 weeks ago they were at the top of the table, so hugely disappointing. And then of course coming into the equation is the run that Reading have been on. I mean, it's just been quite astonishing that from 13 games to win 11, only draw 1 and only lose 1 of those. They're just absolutely flying at the moment, and in stark contrast, because I visited them the week before, and it's just so relaxed, Mark, it's unbelievable. I mean, Brian McDermott really does need a bed in his dugout. He's so chilled out, it's unbelievable, and that emanates across not just his whole team, actually the whole club. Just a real feel-good factor across the whole place.
Well, and not only have they increased the gap over third place West Ham, they've actually closed the gap on top of the table Southampton,
who they play on Friday the 13th, which is going to be an absolutely crucial game. I'm just looking through the run-ins here, and obviously Southampton lost at Blackpool, their first defeat in 13. Nigel Adkins obviously wants to put that behind him rather quickly, but I'm just looking here: Southampton, Portsmouth, Palace, Reading, Peterborough, Middlesbrough and Coventry. Actually, Reading have got a few challenging ones in there. Leeds at home, Brighton away, Southampton away, just mentioned, then Forest and Palace at home, Birmingham away last game of the season. They obviously could be trying to squeeze it in the playoffs still. West Ham away at Barnsley, Birmingham at home, Brighton at home. We just talked about their home form. Then Bristol City away, who are obviously fighting for their lives. Leicester away and Hull at home. So knit one and pull one out of that lot, young man.
And Blackpool having beaten Southampton on Saturday evening means they're right back in the thick of it as well.
Well, one of 4 clubs on 63 points from 4th to 7th. 2 of their goals in their win over Southampton were courtesy of a man who's hoping to win promotion to the Premier League for a 3rd season in a row. Stephen Dobbie did it with Blackpool themselves 2 years ago on loan from Swansea, repeated it with Swansea last year, and now he's back at Bloomfield Road. Evening, Stephen.
Good evening.
Well, that'd be a pretty unique achievement, wouldn't it, if you managed to do that 3 years in a row? We'll have to get you your own special seat at Wembley by the side of the pitch or something.
Yeah, that would be nice. Obviously, I've had some great success the last 2 years and 2 fantastic teams, so hopefully if we play like we did on Saturday, we've got a good chance.
What's the deal? You're there till the end of the season? You can't be recalled or anything like that?
No, I think there's a 28 day, but I think I'll be there at the end of the season now.
I mean, what a major inspiration to your teammates to be able to go into a dressing room and tell them they've done it for the last 2 years. I mean, has Ollie remotely mentioned that as part of the equation when he brought you back in, before the emergency loan window closed?
No, obviously, when that came about, there was a few teams interested, but as soon as I spoke to the gaffer, there was only one team I was going to go to be honest. And obviously, we've got a great chance and a great bunch of team there, and I think he just wanted someone he knew, and hopefully I can do well for them.
Is he talking about a return to the Premier League, or is everything being kept one game at a time and quite calm?
Yeah, I think it's one game at a time. I think we obviously had a bad result down at Reading, who are playing very well, and we managed to get the win on Saturday there. So it's all about just keeping our heads, and I think we've got Watford and then Barnsley over the next 2 over this weekend. So I think we still need to pick up a few wins before we can even think about cementing the place in the playoffs.
It goes back to a conversation we were having earlier on the show. When you look at fixture lists, you could kind of look at Watford and think mid-table side, that's exactly what you want, but they're on an unbeaten run of 7, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they've been fantastic lately. So, I mean, it's never an easy game going down there. I went there with Swansea last year, and we were 3-0 up, and almost drew the game at the end of the game. So they fight every time I played them. So it's going to be a hard match.
Tell us, Stephen, how does it compare to 2 years ago at Blackpool? What's the atmosphere like around the place? Because obviously there was the surprise element this time around. They're a kind of, a club that was in the Premier League last year. And how does Ollie compare? Has he changed a lot over the 2 years?
No, not really. The gaffer's still as crazy as ever. That was honestly one of the reasons, as soon as I heard he was interested, I wanted to go back, because every day is fantastic going into a training pitch with him. But as soon as you get on a training pitch, he's very professional. So it's one of them where we've got different players. We've got a lot of younger players. Obviously, we've not got Charlie and David Vaughan, DJ Campbell anymore, but the young boys coming through like Tom Ince and Matt Phillips look fantastic talents.
There's something to be said for a bit of momentum, isn't there? Coming good at just the right time. You might have heard us just talking about Reading. Well, you brought them up, actually. Yeah. But there's something to be said about just getting on that roll and just keeping it going, and gradually building that speed.
Yeah, I mean, last year at Swansea, we were struggling away from home, and then we managed to turn it round, and we were picking up even the draws, and then grinding out results away to Forest in the playoffs, and it's just trying to build up that momentum and believing that you can actually do it.
Stephen, thank you very much for joining us on 5 Live Football League. Good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
The teams will be out here very shortly, so let's crack on to this story in League One. Preston losing 2-0 to Sheffield Wednesday on Saturday. Graham Wesley then accused some of his own players of leaking the intended team and tactics to the Wednesday camp ahead of the game. Manchester United are already back out here, Clem, so we probably haven't got time to hear the clip of Wesley. But, I mean, this is just bizarre, isn't it?
Well, it is bizarre, and I know the club have conducted a full investigation today, and they say the matter is now dealt with. You've got to understand as well that Graham Wesley, A, has his own methods, very hard-working, double shifts. B, he's got what a hybrid of a squad. Alan Irvin's players, Darren Ferguson's, Phil Brown's. However, I mean, I've spoken to Chairman Peter Ridsdale today. He says he's aware of who the individuals are, and he is as satisfied as he can be that they didn't act maliciously. He's addressed his squad today and also reaffirmed absolutely 100% his commitment to Graham Westley. He is the man that Preston expect to turn the club's fortunes around, and the summer is obviously at that club, if you look at it, going to be a time of major change because so many are out of contract. But he is basically saying he thinks the players did not act maliciously.
Okay, and you've got about 15 seconds to sum up League Two, which is wide open at the top.
It is just astonishing. I mean, I was with Torquay on Friday night. I mean, the run they're on, but, any of the top 7 could take an automatic place. Listen, I can't wait. This final 6 weeks of the regular season are going to be fantastic.
Certainly are. We'll cover it all on 5 Live Football League and on the Football League show, which you can see Clem every Saturday night after Match of the Day. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Jabbers.
Mark Clement there, ball's on the centre spot. Javier Hernandez has got his foot on it. Conor McNamara and Phil Neville.
Thank you very much. Well, it's a big 45 minutes to come in the title race, and while we're at it, a big 45 minutes in the relegation battle as well. Manchester United, a win here puts them 5 points clear of the top. A win for Blackburn puts them 3 points clear of the relegation zone. Maybe more pertinently for them, defeat for Blackburn puts them into the relegation zone, such as the tight nature and only goals scored, keeping them above Queen's Park Rangers coming into this game tonight. We are back underway. There hasn't been any changes in personnel, and the ball immediately goes out right in front of Alex Ferguson, and he turns and he wonders why doesn't that ball straight immediately be given to Raphael. He was actually frustrated there was a delay. I can only imagine, and Phil Neville, you'll have a much better idea than any of us what that dressing room would have been like at half-time.
Well, he won't be panicking, that's for sure, because how many times have we seen United score late on? They're experienced at this stage of the season, but what I think he will stress to his team is in the final third, for all the possession, they're not moving the ball quick enough, and especially when Valencia gets the ball, they need to get somebody across that near post, because when they did that once in the first half, Chicharito hit the post.
These two played out a 0-0 draw here 2 seasons ago. Last season it finished 1-1 when Manchester United came here to Ewood Park. 0-0 for the moment. I made a few notes just to remind myself of the key moments in the first half. It all begins with H. Hernandez hit the post. Hoylett had that shot brilliantly saved by De Gea. There was the handball appeal, if you like, and I agree with you, Phil. I think there's no way the defender can get his hand out of the way in time there. That's ball to hand. Then, of course, Marcus Olsen had the shot saved by De Gea towards the end, and Grant Hanley's header, let's not forget about that. So, although Manchester United had the lion's share of possession in the first half, there's a very big argument to say Blackburn came closest to scoring.
And I think that's what Sir Alex would have been saying to him at half-time. For all your dominance, Blackburn had the best chances in the half.
Our producer Alistair Yeomans told me during half-time he had a text from a couple listening in the Scilly Isles. She's a Man City fan, he's a Manchester United fan, both glued to our coverage here on 5 Live, so I hope you're listening in. Yeah, I believe so.
Married a Man City fan.
It's unreal what can happen. It'll never last. Well, maybe till April 30th, what do you think? Possession with Paul Robinson on the penalty spot inside his penalty area, way to the right hand side. Blackburn playing from right to left as we look down, attacking the Ronnie Clayton Blackburn end that Mike referred to in the first half. Let me give you a reminder of the teams here. Paul Robinson is the Blackburn goalkeeper. At right back it's Bradley Orr. Centre halves Grant Hanley and Scott Dan. Left back is Martin Olsen, one half of the twin pairing, because Marcus Olsen is in midfield with Morten Gamst Pedersen, Jason Lowe, Stephen Nzonzi and Junior Hoylett, and Yakubu is very much the lone striker up front. This is Marcus Olsen with a wonderful shot save towards the end of the first half. Picks out a pass to Yakubu. Controlled in the centre circle by Morten Gamst Pedersen. Phil Jones just fell to the ground there off the ball. It was just a slip, thankfully. And this is Nzonzi who sends it to the far side. Or gives it back into Stephen Nzonzi. I think Blackburn will feel a lot better about things, having got to the break at 0-0 and knowing that they went in as the team on top as well. Their purple patch in the first half came in the closing stages. This is Yakubu. Crossing position on the right, plays it off the shins of Rio Ferdinand, and Blackburn will remain on the attack here. They have a throw down the right.
You know, in football, Conor, no two halves are ever the same, so at half-time Steve Keane would have been boiled by that last 2 or 3 minutes, the 2 chances that they had, and he'll be stressing to them that they will get more chances in the game, and just to stick in there, accept that United are going to get possession of the ball, but they've got to be concentrated.
Pedersen's throw from the far side to the edge of the 6-yard box. It was headed away by Phil Jones. Then Johnny Evans gets up and puts his head on it, and Pedersen is going to keep it in play on the far side. Back to Bradley Orr, crossing position. Here it comes into the penalty area, flicked on round about the penalty spot by Scott Dan. Didn't quite get a firm enough connection on it. It flashed across his forehead, flashed in front of goal, and out for a goal kick for Manchester United. Still 0-0 on 5 Live.
There's a slight warning there for Man United. You know, it comes from a set piece, headed out, second phase defending again. And, you know, Blackburn are a goal threat when they have these set pieces.
Mentioned a couple of times in the first half, the last time these teams met, New Year's Eve, Blackburn won at Old Trafford. Mistake by David De Gea, and the mood of the time was that he wasn't going to hold on and become Manchester United's first choice goalkeeper. He's done so well to hold on to his post in that time. And what about Steve Keane? Because back, you know, the morning of New Year's Eve, he seemed dead man walking in this job, and who'd have thought he'd still be involved now early in April, and his team above the relegation zone as well. Here's Valencia down the right hand side for Manchester United, sends a cross into the centre, headed away by Grant Hanley. Now a chance for Lowe to send one down the left hand side. Marcus Olsen chases after it, he won't beat Raphael to the ball, and the Brazilian nudges it back in field and back to David De Gea. But at least, you know, in the first half, Phil, we said that Blackburn would clear the ball and there was no one to challenge for it. Now they've got Marcus Olsen, they've got Junior Hoylett up, at least close, some bit close to Yakubu.
Well, I think that was 10 minutes to go in the first half. I think they realised that they had to get somebody closer up to Yakubu.
Here is Marcus Olsen over the halfway line, left-hand side. Oh, poor touch, showed too much of it to Raphael. He was just dribbling with the ball, and one heavy touch amidst a flurry of touches showed too much of it to the Brazilian. And Manchester United will come away on the far side, and this is Patrice Evra. I'll give you the United team in full. De Gea the keeper, Raphael, Ferdinand, Evans and Evra the back four, Jones, Carrick, Scholes in midfield, Valencia with Hernandez and Rooney. This is Raphael on the right hand side. Up ahead of him is Marcus Olsen. So Raphael veers infield, a little bit of space in front of him. He'll continue within 10 yards of the penalty area. Now to the right hand side to Valencia, who's seen a lot of the ball in this game. Valencia tries to dribble towards the D of the penalty area, exchanges a pass with Rooney, then picks out Paul Scholes, back out to the near side, controlled on the chest by Paul Jones. He looks once more for Valencia, can't shrug off Jason Lowe. Jones will cross himself, very good cross, headed away under pressure by Scott Dann. It's still alive for Manchester United. Patrice Evra to Rooney on the edge of the box, pushes it one way, tries to get away from Hoylett, shows too much to the Blackburn man, and Blackburn clear it away out for a throw.
Another cross from the right hand side, great defending from Scott Dann, facing his own net. How he got that behind him, I'll never know.
Two important headers from Scott Dann, one, you know, attacking goal away to our left hand side, one defending in front of his own goalpost away to our right. It remains 0-0. It's cagey, it's tight, it's nervy, as football in April often tends to be in Barclays Premier League. This is Evra, crossing position on the left-hand side, picks out Rooney, just outside the penalty area. Rooney drops his shoulder, gets away from two defenders, can't beat the third one. Now Evra's cross comes in. It's Grant Hanley who heads it out of the penalty area, but Manchester United immediately regain possession, and it's like they've just clicked up a gear now, United. The pace is intensified. Rooney goes for goal. It was dipping, but not dipping fast enough. Robinson was a few yards off his line, but it was always going over the crossbar.
Always going over the crossbar, but Wayne Rooney cutting in from that left-hand side. I think that's the position that he likes to come in. I think if you give it another 5 or 10 minutes, I think you maybe see Welbeck or Ashley Young come onto the field, play wide left and let Wayne Rooney come in behind, because United will be desperate for this goal.
11 goals in his last 9 games for Wayne Rooney. He's not had many shots tonight, actually. That might be his first attempt where he's really had a crack inside the box.
He's playing out on that left-hand side, so he's not had as many opportunities to actually be a goal threat.
Hernandez did hit the post in the first half. Now this is Martin Olsen, left-hand side. His twin brother Marcus is up ahead of him, but the pass is cut out. Scholes has it in midfield. And again, Blackburn backing off Paul Scholes, so he'll just edge his way into the Blackburn half via Phil Jones to Valencia on the right-hand side. Now he's got the defender turned here, Martin Olsen. So Valencia crosses low into the box. Scholes tumbles. Play answers the referee. I think it was a fair challenge. I think he went down under his own momentum there, Scholes, more than anything else. He was trying to keep his balance and turn at the same time, and he fell over. And as Blackburn tried to launch a counter-attack, it's cut out by Johnny Evans, and Manchester United have possession. Blackburn 0, Manchester United 0. Phil Neville.
Paul Scholes has this wonderful ability when it's 100 miles an hour around him to put his foot on the ball and the whole game just stands still. It's fantastic that he's come back to the Premiership, and it looks like he's never been away.
Evra, left-hand side for Manchester United, to the edge of the box, pulls it back now for Hernandez, thought about the shot, tees up Scholes instead. Scholes also dummies his shot. Now he was certainly fouled there by Grant Hanley. Paul Scholes goes to ground. It'll be a free kick to Manchester United. This is a dangerous position now. It's about 8 yards outside the penalty area, right in front of Paul Robinson's goal.
I think Grant Hanley just caught, it was an elbow to the face there. Paul Scholes doesn't dive. We've seen players this weekend dive. Paul Scholes doesn't go down easily, and it was a bad foul really in the end.
Listen to the noise around Ewood Park. Most of that noise coming from the Manchester United fans away to our right-hand side. That's the end that their team is attacking towards. There are 54 minutes on the clock. Roberto Mancini predicted a draw on this one, and it's Blackburn 0, Manchester United 0 for now. But this is the most dangerous set-piece position that Manchester United have had in the game. Rooney, the only player standing over it. There are how many? Probably 6 in the wall for Blackburn, right on the edge of the penalty area. Paul Robinson standing slightly to the right-hand side of his goalpost. And Rooney stands with hands on hips. Here he comes, short run up, Rooney over the wall, and saved out for a corner by Robinson. Seemed to dive a bit in slow motion there as he tipped it out.
Comfortable save, sometimes keepers, I call that a camera save.
Yeah. Well, it was on target, the save had to be made, but at the expense of a corner. Valencia swings it in towards the front post. Jones tried to snatch at it, didn't get a clean connection. Yakubu now keeps a calm head, rolls it to his left-hand side to Nzonzi. Now Hoylett, chance of a counter-attack if Blackburn are quick enough here. Hoylett's not fast enough though, closed down by Raphael. It will be a Blackburn throw, but for a split second Marcus Olsen was tearing through the centre, and if Hoylett had picked him out, that could have been the chance.
Yeah, it could have been a chance. I think counter-attack probably is the way that Blackburn are going to play this half. Olsen made a great run, Hoylett just didn't see it.
Last time these sides met, Blackburn had 3 shots on target in the entire game, and they scored 3 goals. They've already had a few shots on target in this one, but 0-0 it remains. Scholes' possession inside the Manchester United half, back to Carrick, across through Evra, to Rooney, out in that wide left position, just goes past the first defender Pedersen there like he was non-existent. Now Rooney picks out Valencia on the right-hand side. 4 to aim for in the box. Scholes also arriving. Valencia doesn't provide a cross. He's lost possession, but he's won a corner.
He's causing the Olsen brothers some problems out here. In the first half, he must have got in 5 or 6 crosses in today, and in the second half, he's done the same.
I'd be surprised if Valencia hasn't had more touches of the ball in this game than any other player. This is his corner into a busy penalty area, headed away by Dans. Now, on the edge of the penalty area is Rooney. He's got Scholes to Valencia, Raphael I should say. Bit of the room in front of Raphael. Good shot, a sting in the gloves of Paul Robinson, who makes the save. And then following up was Valencia, who doesn't get a cross in, but he is going to win a corner. The last touch came off Junior Hoylett. It's a corner to Manchester United on the right-hand side, and the pressure continues to build and build.
The pressure's building now. I think that was a better save from Paul Robinson. I think he did have to dive for that one.
Valencia's corner once again. Dan is the man underneath it, and that's going to bounce once and go out for another corner. And he hardly had to move, Valencia, to catch that ball and place it down in the quadrant. Very short run-up from the Ecuadorian, but a powerful corner. And it was actually Patrice Evra who threw his body at that header, and now Hernandez, he was onside, and I don't think he realised he was. Hernandez looked over towards the referee's assistant, and I think that put him off a little bit. He was checking was he onside, and the ball popped into the arms of the goalkeeper.
I think Hernandez thought he was offside. I also think he maybe thought that Paul Robinson was going to come out and clatter him as well. That was maybe at the back of his mind, but a great opportunity.
Blackburn 0, Manchester United 0. Manchester United top of the Premier League. And Blackburn Rovers hoping to stay out of the relegation zone by avoiding defeat here at Ewood Park. Raphael passes into Michael Carrick. Carrick's got time to look up and pick out a pass to Hernandez. Not a good ball for Rooney. Very difficult for Rooney to control that, and groans from the Manchester United fans. Blackburn have it. Slow to break out of their own half. 57 minutes on the clock. Bradley Orr, January purchase from Queen's Park Rangers. Back to Dan. Manchester United have everyone back behind the ball. This is Nzonzi. just a little bit of a breather in the game. It's been frantic since half-time. This is the first time there's been a few slow and steady passes.
I think Blackburn will be welcoming this because they're doing that much energy chasing the ball after Man United.
There's a mistake by Carrick, giving it to Yakubu. Danger man on the edge of the area, and his shot is too high. He let fly left-footed, and it careered immediately off his boot, both high and wide.
Very unlike Yakubu, that always hits the target, whether it's left foot or right foot, always seems to hit the target. Snatched it in a little bit.
He went for power, didn't he?
He went for power, yeah. He went to break the back of the net there, I think.
And blushes spared for Michael Carrick, who gave the ball away just outside his own penalty area. It remains Blackburn Rovers 0. Manchester United 0. This is 5 Live for the BBC. Good touch from Hoyland to Pedersen. Blackburn are making a real go of this. Yakubu turns and shoots, and again it's off target. But the chances continue to be racked up, and it's not just Manchester United here. Blackburn Rovers are having a real go, and any Manchester City fans listening in will be pleased to hear that. Blackburn Rovers are making life difficult for Manchester United.
I've watched Blackburn a lot this season. In every game that they've played, they have been a goal threat in every game. You can tell that by the goals that they've scored, and tonight they've probably had 5 or 6 chances against the top of the table side.
No, they do score goals, Blackburn. They've played 30 Premier League games before tonight. They've only failed to score in 5 of them, and particularly at home they usually do score.
I think if you're scoring goals, it always gives you a good chance of surviving.
Carrick inside the centre circle. Almost an hour played now at Ewood Park. Jones, first time to Valencia right hand side. Here comes the cross, low across the edge of the box. He's yet to produce a really killer cross as Valencia tonight, but he's done well here to win possession back briefly before Nzonzi clips one over the top. Chance for Marcus Olsen to come forward. Plays it ahead of Evans. Now he picks out Yakubu. Yakubu tackled by Paul Scholes, but Paul Scholes gives away a free kick. And, well, I know it's a bit of a joke in football, but that looked to me to be a fair tackle from Paul Scholes on the edge of the box. He looks like he wins the ball. We'll get to see a replay in a moment. This is going to mean a dangerous free kick for Blackburn just outside the box.
I thought he won the ball, and Howard Webb was in a great position to give that. Paul Scholes wasn't happy at all. I think maybe his reputation went before him then.
I think so. Yakubu does go to ground. Scholes stays on his feet. Well, he looked like he won the ball. 26,532 is the official attendance, and Alex Ferguson is going to make that change that Phil sort of predicted early on. Danny Welbeck is going to come on. Interesting who's going off, by the way. It's Javier Hernandez. So Welbeck will lead the line. And will this mean that Rooney will push up as well, or will Rooney continue to play in midfield?
I think Rooney will continue to play on that left-hand side. There is a connection between Welbeck and Rooney. They will interchange positions where Hernandez is an out-and-out centre-forward, but Welbeck can play out there if he wants to.
Danny Welbeck did score last month against Wolves. Hang on, here comes Pedersen's free kick through the wall, saved by De Gea and cleared away by Rio Ferdinand. Big chance again for Blackburn. Once it came back off the body of the goalkeeper, that could have landed anywhere, and it was alert defending to clear it away. Blackburn will come again. This is Hoyland crossing from the left-hand side, too high for everyone in the centre. Nzonzi's going to try and keep it in. Oh, he's done brilliant, Nzonzi. Flicked the ball into the air. Now across the face of goal. Pedersen into the bottom corner, but it's not going to count. The ball had gone out of play previously. Blackburn celebrate, their fans celebrate, but they're in for a rude awakening now as the realisation dawns at Ewood Park. The Blackburn Rovers are not in front. Nzonzi was over by the corner flag. He flicked the ball into the air over the head of a defender, and he thought he kept it in play. But he's not done so. We've not seen a clean replay of that yet. Ball was played into the centre. Didn't Pedersen hit it ever so well into the goal, but it's not counted.
It's a great strike by Pedersen. The linesman was in a fantastic...
Does all of the ball go out? We've seen one sort of long distance replay. Here's a better one. Oh, hang on. This is just a replay of the goal. Oh, Manchester City fans listening in to us.
What you've got to say, though, is that the linesman was right on the right side there. It was right in front of him. He had the best position on the pitch, I think, in giving that.
Another change for Manchester United. It's time for an experienced head. And on comes Ryan Giggs into the midfield, replacing Phil Jones. So United now with Scholes, Carrick and Giggs in that midfield. There's a lot of experience. Remember, Giggs scored that late winner against Norwich in February. That's the kind of interjection that United fans will be hoping from Ryan Giggs and what remains in this game. 63 minutes now on the clock. Johnny Evans has possession. I've still not seen a proper replay as to whether that ball went out of play. It was difficult to tell. But one way or the other, it remains 0-0. Giggs, first touch on the ball for him, strokes a pass onto the instep of Valencia on the right touchline for Manchester United. Back in field, Carrick helps it on to Paul Scholes. He's got Welbeck in the penalty area, but chooses to give it to Evra on the left-hand side, now controlled by Ryan Giggs. Here comes the cross. Welbeck allows it past his body, hoping it would fall for Rooney. Blackburn get it away, up to Yakubu. Poor first touch from Yakubu. Gives possession to Welbeck. Rooney back to Welbeck again, had to stretch. Not a clean touch on the ball. Nzonzi gets it back for Blackburn, and then it's cleared away, a good old-fashioned up and under by Bradley Orr. So what happens now, Phil Neville? Do Blackburn dig in, or do they go for this? Are they enthused by the fact they found the back of the net, albeit disallowed?
Well, I don't think Blackburn changed their game plan, because they keep creating chances. United are obviously the team that's now chasing the victory.
Evra crosses from the left-hand side. It's not a good cross. It goes straight over the crossbar, and a goal kick to Blackburn.
I think what you've seen now, you've seen Wayne Rooney go back to his favourite position in behind with Danny Welbeck there. Ryan Giggs occupying the left-hand side.
Well, we're getting to see the same replay we did before, which is very much from an angle, and, well, they've paused it at an interesting spot. It looks like the ball did go out of play. What do you reckon, Phil?
Great decision by the linesman. I think we're quick to criticise officials nowadays, but that was a great decision.
So Morten Gamst Pedersen denied the opening goal. It remains Blackburn 0, Manchester United 0, and Mark Chapman mentioned it before kickoff, how everyone here in the build-up is saying this is going to be close tonight. It might be a team at the top against a team just above the relegation zone, but everyone predicting this to be close, and funny, that is how it's worked out to be.
Every game's going to be like this now. The Fulham game last week at Old Trafford was tough. The next week against QPR will just be as tough. United have got the experience though.
A draw is enough to keep Blackburn out of the relegation zone tonight. That will be in their minds, of course. If this does end in a draw, it'll move Manchester United to 74 points. They'll be 3 ahead of Manchester City, and they still have to go to the Etihad. And at the moment, Manchester City have the slightly better goal difference. Not much in that, though. 3 goals better off. Now here come Blackburn on the attack. Pedersen flicks it over his head, but he's not going to be able to keep that in play. And it goes out for a Manchester United goal kick away to our left, which De Gea is very eager to get on with and take quickly. Short to Johnny Evans, now to Raphael. Well, this is the test now for Manchester United. Show us how good you are. If you're going to win the title, this is the kind of game, edgy and close as it is, that Alex Ferguson's teams down through the years have been able to find a late winner in. We've still got over a quarter of this one to go. Evra to Ryan Giggs on the far side. Giggs tries to get it back into Evra. Oh, Evra's waited for that, and it's come perfectly for him, and that's put out for another corner. That was wonderful, the way Evra just paused and waited for the ball to come into his path. It took the fullback by complete surprise, and Blackburn put it out for the corner.
I think what Patrice Evra was trying to do there, he was even trying to probably win a penalty. He was trying to make Morten Gamst Pedersen trip him up. You've got Giggs on one side now and Valencia on the other. They're stretching Blackburn wide to try and create the space in the middle of the midfield there for Wayne Rooney.
Here comes the corner. Ryan Giggs is going to take, left-footed, good delivery towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Hanley. It's going to come back into the mix. This is Carrick, drills it across the 6-yard box, controlled by Giggs, who had taken the corner. Giggs steps into the penalty area, cross towards the back post. This is a chance now for Manchester United, but they can't direct it goal-bound. It was Johnny Evans who got his head to it, but Blackburn clear it away from under their crossbar.
Doggy defending there again by Blackburn. Johnny Evans nodded it down, was hoping that somebody was going to come in late. Wasn't to be.
Well, this is all set up now to be a very exciting climax at Ewood Park as Valencia prepares to cross. He might dribble into the penalty area himself. He's going to win a corner. We've got a quarter of this game to go, and a corner for Manchester United on the right-hand side. Giggs will trudge across again to take it. It's very tense atmosphere here. You can sense it from the players, from the crowd, from Steve Keane, who's out of his technical area bellowing instructions. Here comes the corner from Giggs, flicked on by Carrick at the front post, and that is out for a goal kick. We're past the midway point in the second half. If there is going to be a winner in this one, Mike Ingham will call it for you.
And I just been thinking that if it was to stay like this, Connor, that collar-off equaliser for Manchester City in the end would turn out to be quite a priceless goal, really, because we'd be right back to where we were again Saturday morning, with just the 3 points between the sides, and of course they still have to meet. But there's a long way to go yet in this one. Still a quarter of the match left on 5 Live. Phil Neville with us, enjoying it. Blackburn have created some good chances, the best chances really. And it's been a strange old game really, because despite United's extra class out there, extra possession, Blackburn have created more dangerous moments. And De Gea, if you weren't with us in the first half, made 3 terrific saves. Now it's Raphael for Manchester United. A little bit overhit. I think it was intended for Scholes initially. It falls to Giggs over on the left-hand side, one of the United substitutes. And now it is Scholes. Scholes on to Rooney. Rooney for Carrick. Carrick linking the play, and Welbeck comes deep to receive. All the United fans behind the goal they are attacking. That will inspire them, but they give the ball away, Manchester United. And Blackburn have a chance to bustle forward down that right-hand side. Junior Hoylett, with good close control, finds low inside the centre circle. And Blackburn playing with a degree of confidence at the moment. Blackburn Rovers 0, Manchester United 0 on 5 Live, just as Mancini predicted. Long one down the centre of United's defence. Yakubu gets in there, but the ball will drop to Scholes. And we have Mike Phelan now, not Sir Alex Ferguson, in the technical area for Manchester United, as Welbeck now, the other United substitute, finds Raphael. United near side, this is their right-hand side. Valencia into Welbeck. Touch back to Raphael. Now Valencia once more. Rooney waiting in the penalty area with Giggs. Valencia waits. 2 Blackburn players up against him. Works it back to Raphael. Manchester United with Carrick. Square ball to Scholes. They're having to work really hard now, Manchester United. Blackburn sitting very deep. The ball comes to Valencia again on the right-hand side in towards Welbeck. Well defended again by Blackburn. And is there danger here for United as Blackburn try and counter-attack? No, Valencia and Welbeck get it back again for Manchester United. And then Valencia is hauled over. And then the ball is kicked away by Hoylett. And that will probably be a yellow card.
Blackburn are sitting deep, aren't they? You know, every time Valencia gets the ball, he's got 2 men round him, and I think Blackburn are actually inviting the crosses because they've got 2 centre-halves in there that have headed everything away so far tonight.
Well, you can tell we're coming to the end of the season. Howard Webb is very generous there. I mean, Hoylett, it was the kicking the ball away, I think, in anger, which might have earlier in the season produced a yellow card anyway. It's a free kick to Manchester United. That's a serious thing here. And there's a conversation taking place between Evans and Giggs. Giggs presumably telling Evans exactly what's on Rooney's mind here with this free kick, 25 yards out. Evans has gone into the penalty area, just inside the area. This penalty area away to our right. Giggs and Rooney over the ball, so it may not be Rooney. Oh, Rooney shaped to take it, and now Rooney takes it second time round and doesn't deliver well. Complete misunderstanding there between 2 of the most experienced players in the game. We'll get Phil Neville's thoughts on that in a moment. Scholes drifts another typical Scholes ball with accuracy to this near side, and Raphael. Now Valencia. Giggs is down the right-hand side. Giggs with the left foot, looking high into the area. Blackburn defending well in number, concede a corner. Phil?
I think it was actually a well-rehearsed move, that one, Mike. I think Giggs bumping into Rooney, then turning around trying to play it in. The execution just wasn't on from Wayne Rooney. Corner kick to Manchester United, 0-0 Heawood Park. Johnny Evans is bustling around inside the penalty area, and it comes. It's an easy header up by Blackburn. It'll drop to Scholes. Scholes plants it to Valencia. Danger not cleared yet for Blackburn Rovers. Valencia in the penalty area. Toe pokes the ball into a Blackburn face, straight into a player's face down there. I think it might be Marcus Olsen who's gone down injured. And he really would have felt that. It was only a couple of yards away from him. And Gams Pedersen, I think.
Is it Gams Pedersen? Right. In the meantime, out comes Mike Phelan to speak to Rio Ferdinand. And it's a fascinating situation here now, Paul.
It's fascinating. I think you can smell the tension in the air from ball sets and supporters. And I still think that Steve Keane will be the happiest of the 2 managers, because they keep creating chances on the counter-attack and they're defending stoutly at the back there as well.
6 successive wins by Manchester United coming into this game. And since they lost at Newcastle, they've only failed to win one of their matches. That was the 3-3 at Chelsea. Only 4 teams have stopped United from winning away from home this season in the Premier League. Can Blackburn become the 5th? Remember, they already beaten United this season at Old Trafford. Michael Carrick for Manchester United, still keeping their patience, keeping their discipline. Carrick now to Evans, but it's been a fantastic effort from the home side here from Blackburn. Can they go all the way? Valencia now cuts in field and picks out Scholes. Giggs available down the left-hand side. I don't think Scholes' ball's going to reach him. Wasn't particularly well headed away by Orr. And Olsen's recovered from that blow he got a few minutes ago, although he doesn't make clean contact with the ball. And now he's hemmed in over on the far side. United are working hard around him to win it back. And here they come once more, Manchester United. Welbeck back to Scholes. A red tide here pouring forward on the Blackburn defenders. Blackburn, apart from Yakubu, all inside their own half. Now Giggs once more. Rooney and Welbeck in the area. In comes a cross. It'll be headed away at the back by Dan of Blackburn, but they don't get the second ball there, and Welbeck was almost in on the edge of the penalty area. Blackburn have got a huge gap between their defence and their attackers, but now the bounce was awkward for Yakubu. But still they managed to get it down this left-hand side, and it's Marcus Olsen. Blackburn Rovers on the counter-attack here. Marcus Olsen doesn't quite get his delivery right to his twin brother Martin. Not great telepathy there between the two twins, but they still have possibilities by the corner flag. Back though comes Raphael to win the ball well for Manchester United, and now Rooney on the edge of his own penalty area floats the ball to the far side to Giggs, and United will move forward in numbers once more. Evra to Giggs, but it's still 0-0 at Ewood Park, and we've only got just over 15 minutes to go. Manchester City's supporters will be hoping this is the final score, of course. Valencia now for Manchester United. Square ball to Scholes, laid back to Raphael. There are 4 or 5 red shirts waiting. Valencia holds. Raphael makes a run on the outside. Valencia knocks it back into central midfield and Carrick. And now Evra waiting for the ball to come onto him. Blackburn desperate to try and get it away from the Frenchman, but he feeds Valencia. Again, it's just a little slow though from Manchester United. Not working it quickly enough here to trouble Blackburn. Carrick for Rooney. Rooney's 30 yards away from Paul Robinson's goal. Robinson still hasn't had to really make great saves tonight, unlike the Manchester United keeper De Gea. Now Giggs down the United left. Scholes has made a run into the penalty area, but Blackburn defend well. It's a throw.
Blackburn are working so hard out of possession there. They're closing down everything. You just wonder how long they can keep this up for.
Now Ferdinand joins in as he receives from the throw-in over on the far side. Ferdinand finds Evra. Evra down the left. The initial movements are a little slow. Now Evra charges forward for Manchester United. Into the penalty area goes Patrice Evra. Once more the defender nicks it away from him. And now Blackburn looking to clear, immediately closed down by Welbeck. Groans from the home fans. They've given absolutely everything here, Blackburn, but will their legs take them through the 90 minutes? Manchester United looking very fresh still. Raphael, Blackburn haven't made any changes yet in the game. They may have to. Evans of United. On to Valencia. Welbeck, Rooney, Giggs in the area. In comes the cross, almost fell to Rooney, stabbed away by Blackburn, but they're not retaining possession. They're knocking it straight back to United every time. And Ferdinand feeds Evra, on it goes to Giggs. Giggs now taking on the fullback. In comes a cross, travel a long way, right across the face of the goal there. In the end, Blackburn taking no chances, concede a corner.
More pressure from Man United. The two wingers from Man United, Ryan Giggs and Antonio Valencia, are staying really wide, stretching the play, and Blackburn are getting deeper and deeper.
Blackburn 0, Manchester United 0. Another really difficult away game for Manchester United at Ewood Park. In goes the corner kick, dealt with at the near post by Blackburn. Comes out to Ferdinand. Ferdinand with a rather lazy ball, but Giggs turns it into a good one. Ryan Giggs for Manchester United, and now Rooney. In comes a cross. Go! Down goes Robinson, diving at Welbeck's feet to make the save.
Good interchange play there by Ryan Giggs. Slips it out to Wayne Rooney, and he should have probably just pulled it back because Paul Scholes was ghosted in the box like we've seen many a time.
Well, the thing is, Steve Keane seems quite happy to leave it as it is, but Manchester United are going to send Ashley Young on now, their third and final change, as Raphael loses the bounce there against Hoylett. Hoylett turns and spins. Raphael trying to get the challenge in. Blackburn now look to Pedersen. Oh, Pedersen feeds Olsen. In comes a cross. Yakubu was almost there inside the 6-yard area. United deny Yakubu. The ball comes out to Nzonzi, and how typical of this game. But we've had non-stop Manchester United pressure, and yet it's Blackburn creating the most dangerous moments. Down the centre of United's defence, Evans heads away, Welbeck can't find Rooney, and it's smashed forward again by Hanley, and Ferdinand happy to backhead it to his goalkeeper.
They keep creating these chances, and eventually they will tell. United have got all the possession, all the dominance, but every now and again they give a little reminder to United that they are a goal threat.
Blackburn 0, Manchester United 0, and we're now into the last 15 minutes of this game. United fans urging their side on, thousands of them away to our right. Another awkward fixture though for them, as it has been over the seasons. Manchester United building a game with Ashley Young waiting to come on. The ball is given to Rooney. Rooney trying to get away from Nzonzi. Now Evra again. Evra's camped inside the Blackburn half at the moment. Oh, and then Rooney's made a mistake. But fortunately for United, there's a big gap between Blackburn's midfield and Yakubu, and they just have to hold it here, Blackburn. And now Lowe goes through the centre circle. and feeds Pedersen over on the far side. Blackburn denied a goal. The ball was out of play when Nzonzi crossed it, but it was brilliantly put away by Pedersen nevertheless. He didn't know the ball was out. And now Blackburn look to the lively Hoylett once more. Hoylett's got two United players, two of the most experienced players, Ferdinand and Scholes, but he's got away from Ferdinand. Cross comes Scholes, who just got his foot in there to stop Hoylett in his tracks. But Hoylett still has the ball, and it comes back to Nzonzi, 25 yards out. Doesn't think about the shot. The cross comes in from Pedersen, and Raphael with a strong header heads it towards the corner flag for throwing over on the far side.
Well, Junior Hoylett shown again tonight. He's the one Blackburn player that's got the ability to go past the Man United player. He looks the biggest threat now for Man United.
And Scott Danner, not Grant Hanley, comes forward now to try and get on the end of this throw-in. Paul Scholes makes way for Ashley Young. So that's the Manchester United final change here this evening. But it's going to be Scott Dan standing inside the 6-yard area. And Blackburn Rovers, as we've been saying throughout the night, one of their best opportunities will be from these situations. Long throw over on the far side of the field. Dan and Nzonzi and Yakubu are there. In comes the throw-in. United desperately trying to get it away. They haven't yet. And an overhead kick in the end from Yakubu's gone wide. Acrobatic stuff from Yakubu. Can't get it on target. Manchester United goal kick. Starting to run out of time though, Phil.
We are starting to run out of time, and Ashley Young's gone in there on the left-hand side. Ryan Giggs is coming to the middle, but they keep giving Blackburn chances, and that will keep giving Blackburn hope.
So Manchester City 3-1 down against Sunderland, look absolutely out for the count. They got those 2 goals which managed to grab a point in the end, and it could, that point, turn out to be a very important one if it stays 0-0 here. Now Valencia for Raphael. Raphael's ball in doesn't reach Welbeck. Headed away by Hanley, and then Blackburn knock it out for a throw-in down this near side.
How many times, Mike, have we seen Man United score late on over the years?
Well, you wouldn't bet against it, would you? And now it's Carrick once more. But Blackburn have given us some really good moments in this game. They really have produced the best goal-scoring moments. Ashley Young now of United, who've had much more of the ball, haven't done perhaps quite as much with it as Sir Alex Ferguson would have required. United now with Giggs. Long ball from the far side of the field towards Welbeck. Again, the Blackburn centre-backs do their job, and then the ball is thumped downfield. Oh, and now Steve Keane, immediately, that is no composure there. That's just straight back to United, and they could have held on to it there. And now it's Ashley Young once more. Young to Welbeck. Welbeck and Rooney both coming deep when required. Now Raphael onto Valencia. Here comes another United move. Valencia in the penalty area. Oh! Valencia goes all the way. They were waiting for him to cross, and he smashes the ball past Robinson. And with 10 minutes to go, could that be the goal to take Manchester United 5 points clear? Antonio Valencia with a stunner. Blackburn 0, Manchester United 1.
What a strike from Antonio Valencia. We've said many a time tonight he's put 5-10 crosses in. He's gone on his own and he's slashed it into the bottom left-hand corner. Great strike, and it's probably nothing more than Man United deserve for all the possession that they've had.
Well, 99.9% of the time you're just waiting, weren't you, for Valencia to put a cross in for one of those red shirts, and he took us all by surprise, took Paul Robinson by surprise, but it was a fantastic finish. No blame to the goalkeeper.
No blame to the keeper. I think, like you said, he took Paul Robinson by surprise, because everything that he's put in tonight the centre-halves have dealt with.
Yeah, well, that was a great moment for Valencia, who's emerging as a very important player for Manchester United. So Phil Neville was saying how many times, it's not a late goal, because we still have 10 minutes to go, and so there's still time for Blackburn to get back in the game. Blackburn 0, Manchester United 1, and the cruel thing now, as if it stays like this, then Blackburn, despite all their efforts, will slip back into the bottom 3. Giggs now to Welbeck, the United supporters jumping up and down away to our right. And Sir Alex Ferguson is screaming why down there. What's his problem?
Well, he's telling Danny Welbeck to keep hold of the ball. They need the clock to run down now, and by playing it out of play, gets Blackburn back onto the ball.
So the man who used to play not too many miles away from here at Wigan, Valencia, the Ecuador international, has struck a stunning goal here for Manchester United. They lead by 1-0, and now it's all down to Blackburn. Can Blackburn once more find more gears? They may need fresh legs, I don't know. Steve Keane was very happy to leave it with the 11 out there who were containing Manchester United, although he doesn't have too many attacking options on the bench really.
Mike, I think Alex Ferguson's just give Danny Welbeck the airdryer treatment there.
Valencia to Raphael, and the ball was too short. He was very unhappy last week, Sir Alex Ferguson, with the way that they allowed Fulham back into the game when they had complete control. And he's maybe going to see these last 8 minutes out himself down in the... I know he's going to sit down now, but that was the glare, that was the warning for those players. Dig in now. You've got the lead. Keep the ball. There have been enough moments to disturb Sir Alex down there tonight from Blackburn Rovers. His goalkeeper, David De Gea, kept them in the game in the first half with 3 great saves. And now United, and one thing they mustn't do either, United, is concede any free kicks themselves now in dangerous positions, because as we've mentioned, that's where Blackburn can be a real menace. And now United are showing their experience by just keeping the ball, really, moving it around inside their own half. They have the lead, and they just have to see the game out.
They have to see the game out now. They've dropped Wayne Rooney back into midfield now. They've gone back to 3 in midfield, 3 up front. Steve Keane probably needs to look at his bench now and try and inject some more energy, because they've given everything tonight, the players, and they need probably an injection of energy now.
They both scored the same number of goals now, by the way, City and United, 75 each this season. City just fractionally ahead on goal difference, but United, of course, have the difference that really matters. At the moment, they're heading for a 5-point lead at the top of the Premier League. Queen's Park Rangers at home on Easter Sunday, followed by Arsenal against Manchester City. And there'll be commentary on the whole of the game from London, from North London for you. Arsenal against Manchester City. All the noise, though, now from Manchester United. They clinched the title, of course, in this stadium last season. They could go a long way to doing it tonight if they can hang on here with 6 minutes to go, and it's the man of the moment, Valencia, again going forward. Welbeck trying to stay onside. Valencia instead gives it to Young. Young on the edge of there, shot from goal, great goal. Young turns and settles the game, buries the ball in the back of Robinson's neck, and this is quite a response from the champions Manchester United. They've kept their discipline, they've kept their patience, they have struck twice through Valencia and Young. They lead 2-0, and they must be 5 points clear.
The difference between Blackburn and Man United tonight is that Man United have got the players that can do individual brilliance. With two great strikes tonight, one by Valencia and then one by Ashley Young. The substitutions by Alex Ferguson have worked, the positive substitutions, and it's game over.
It was an absolutely brilliant finish. It was right in the corner, and Robinson, who's a terrific goalkeeper, just couldn't get anywhere near it. And we talked about the resources in the first half with people like Ashley Young on the bench, and that's quite a message he's wrapped out there tonight. And there are now hundreds of Blackburn fans making their way out of the stadium. The scoreline doesn't tell the story, Phil, does it?
It doesn't tell the story, no, but I think before the game he spoke to Alex Ferguson, he probably would have looked at the bench and thought, we've got a bench who can make a difference.
Well, Blackburn Rovers maybe have a chance here. Shot is driven in, but wide from Pedersen. And so many empty blue seats now already behind De Gea's goal. But this will put the pressure back on Blackburn. They'll be back in the bottom 3 now. And Manchester United with quite a platform now for the run-in, with a 5-point lead, it seems.
They're back in the bottom 3, Mike, but I think they've played well tonight, Blackburn. I think they've done the fans proud.
Well, any Manchester City fan listening in, there's no way here that this was an easy game for Manchester United. Blackburn couldn't have worked harder to try and deny Manchester United, who had to wait, 80 minutes before we had the opening goal from Valencia. Young's goal, though, has surely settled it. Blackburn still with the same 11 out there who began the game, and the ball is back in their defence. Those two centre-backs were winning everything, Dan and Hanley, and now it's Hoylett, who of course was the first man to test De Gea in the first half, but the pass goes astray, and Manchester United now are just about 2.5-3 minutes away from a crucial victory. It will be
crucial. It looks like Blackburn have just hit a brick wall at the moment. They look a little bit deflated. Obviously the second goal has knocked the stuffing out of them, but Man United have got that experience that they know they're going to score goals, and it doesn't matter whether it's in the first minute or the last minute. And 2 moments of brilliance tonight. And
how emotions can change in a split second. Imagine the City fans just about 10-15 minutes ago thinking, right, well, we're back to where we were at the weekend. The 2 points dropped against Sunderland, not quite so crucial. Manchester United are finding it hard to dig out a victory at Blackburn, but now what a response from the champions. with Valencia's goal and Young's the absolute icing on the cake. And Manchester United are looking good, and Evans heading for another clean sheet, these United defenders as well, heading for a 7th successive victory, and it will be 31 out of 33 points since the Newcastle defeat. Their only defeat away from home all season. Michael Carrick of Manchester United, and now Raphael picks up pace and crosses the halfway line. Valencia's available down the right-hand side. Raphael eventually gives it to him. Infield it goes to Rooney. Rooney now lays the ball back again to Valencia. Rooney doesn't go into the penalty area. Valencia just jinking his way forward. Defender is there, just stopping Valencia from getting a cross in. Works the ball back to Raphael. Blackburn 0, Manchester United 2. Just over a minute of normal time to go here at Ewood Park. Many Blackburn fans have left now. They would have been heartened for such a long period in this game by the contribution made by their side. David De Gea's saves now looking very important in the first half, and United give it back to the Spanish goalkeeper.
United are just playing out time now, looking for possession all the time. Wayne Rooney's playing almost deep lying midfield role now because everything's going through him. It's a vital victory for Man United.
And they were two stunning strikes, Phil, different qualities. I mean, weren't they really? And they have to beat Robinson.
Two moments of brilliance. I think we've said, haven't we, how many crosses have Man United put in tonight that Dan and Hanley have dealt with quite comfortably. It would take a moment of brilliance, and Valencia produced that. I mean, the strike totally took Paul Robinson by surprise.
And then Young came off the bench to spank in the second, and we'll be seeing the fourth official in a moment, because we're entering added time at Ewood Park. Blackburn Rovers 0, Manchester United 2. And the spring has gone out of the Blackburn step now as the ball finds Marcus Olsen on the edge of the penalty area, drilled in, and the defender was Rooney, who comes back and volleys the ball out. We have 3 minutes of added time, and Blackburn can only really now seek consolation, I think. One consolation goal perhaps. Manchester United tidy up once more. Blackburn 0, Manchester United 2. It's a good scoreline, of course, for people like Mark Hughes of Queen's Park Rangers, Roberto Martinez, Wigan, Wolves looking doomed, but the scrap between those others is going to be fiercely fought. Blackburn trailing 2-0. Long ball, toe poke forward. This time Yakubu doesn't get off the ground. Added time then at Ewood Park. And the ball is lifted forward once more. Evans is waiting for it. And he heads the ball with power to the far side of the field. And Evans has had a very impressive game once more alongside Ferdinand in defence. And Ferdinand is now putting together all these back-to-back appearances in the side in the absence of Vidic. Very important. Ball headed away by Manchester United to Martin Olsen. Infield it goes to Lowe, doesn't control it and loses the ball to Welbeck, and Rooney is scampering forward as Welbeck has possession. United looking for a third. Welbeck approaches the penalty area, then gets the pass behind Young to the far side, and Rooney gives him a Rooney look, and it's a throw.
Sir Alex Ferguson's not happy again down there, because I think what he'll be seeing now is the level on goal difference. One more goal will take United in front on goal difference even, and that could be a factor at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Phil. I'm just going to check that. The goal difference for United now is 49, and it's 50, of course, for City.
Okay.
That is, you're right, absolutely, just the one goal difference between the two. But the crucial statistic, of course, is 5 points difference, and that's a huge lead to have. It even means that United could even afford to lose to City in the game. They won't want to do that, of course, but you take my point. I mean, it's not quite so crucial now.
I think the aim is to make sure that game at the Etihad isn't a game-changing game where United can go there, and it means if they lose it doesn't change anything. From a Blackburn point of view, this game tonight was almost like a free hit. They probably wouldn't expect anything from tonight. It's the games against Norwich, Swansea and West Brom that they need to pick up the 3 points in.
I think the everlasting impression I'll take away again tonight, though, is the fact that many other teams would have started to lose their cool, having to go 80 minutes 0-0, and it started to lose a bit of discipline and composure. But United never did that, did they? They knew what they were about. They had inbuilt confidence that they could find a way through.
They never panicked because they've actually been this course many a time, and that's why the likes of Ferdinand, Giggs, Scholes are so important, because they know they're going to get chances later in the game. They know that their individual brilliance of Valencia and Young, they will get one more chance, and they've took it, and experience tells you that.
And that's the advantage they have now over Manchester City. They've just been down this road before. They know what's required. and they lead by 2-0, and that is going to be a 2-0 victory. Howard Webb, we played the 3 minutes, ends the game. Manchester United are 5 points clear. The goals in the end came, we had to wait a long time for them. They were both brilliantly executed from Valencia and then from Ashley Young. I don't, as I go back to Mark now, want to patronise Blackburn, but believe me, if you haven't been with us all evening and you just find out that United have won 2-0, believe me, that really doesn't tell the story of what we watched here. If Blackburn continue like this, with the spirit they've shown, they have a very good chance of playing United again next season.
Exactly. I would love to know the stats for how many times Scott Dan and Hanley headed the ball away. Either of you, Phil?
Well, I think that's what makes Valencia's goal. I think that's what made his mind up, because every time he put the ball in, Hanley and Dan headed everything away, and it was becoming, I think United were getting a little bit frustrated, and it took a moment of brilliance from Valencia to actually get United into the game.
We should probably praise Blackburn tactically for that then, shouldn't we? Because they were happy for Valencia to have the ball and put the crosses in the fact that they would rely on their centre-halves to outmuscle Hernandez and then Welbeck.
I think they backed the centre-halves to deal with crosses. I think when you play Man United, you expect to get beat by a moment of brilliance, but if you get beat by a cross, I think that's when you feel a little bit disappointed. And I'm just watching the Man United players celebrating with the fans there, and even Sir Alex Ferguson went over to the fans. This is a big victory and they know it.
Yeah. I just wanted to make it, before I disappear to listen to Sir Alex, I don't think you'll get the headlines tomorrow, but David De Gea again tonight, Mark, with those saves in the first half, the 3 terrific saves to keep it at 0-0 at half time. I think, looking back at the game now, that turned out to be crucial moments. And the thing about, talking to Phil earlier about De Gea, there is a huge difference between playing in Spain and playing in the English Premier League. And of course he had to follow in Edwin van der Sar's footsteps. Van der Sar had an advantage when he went to Old Trafford in that he had played in the Premier League with Fulham, so he did know what it was about. De Gea, it seems to me, is growing every game now as a terrific keeper.
And the thing with De Gea as well, he came over, he's 21 years of age. He was following Edwin van der Sar, a world-class goalkeeper. He didn't speak the language, and that's hard enough in itself, never mind having to control a back four. He had an inconsistent back four. Now he's got a settled back four, and he looks the real deal. And how important were them 2 saves just before half-time in terms of Man United's results this season?
Mike, you've watched a lot of football over the years. Phil mentioned it there. The way Alex Ferguson reacted at the end and really in the last 10 minutes once the goals went in, and the way those Manchester United players have just reacted with their fans, that's more than just the 3 points away at Blackburn tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought you were going to ask me something else about Ferguson, because the other point that was made again tonight, registered again, was this: any idea of complacency, any showboating, is a dirty word for him. I mean, every time United have won a title, I've sat in on his press conference at the end of a season, and he's been challenging the players for next season. That's what drives him. But yeah, I mean, that was a big statement tonight, especially as Mancini had forecast a draw.
Yeah, you're talking about wanting to win. United went a goal up. Danny Welbeck gives the ball away, and Alex Ferguson nearly went on the pitch and nearly strangled him. That's how much he wants to win a game of football, and it shows that he's still got the fight.
Am I right in thinking that at this precise moment, despite winning 2-0, Danny Welbeck will be getting the full treatment in that Manchester United dressing room from Sir Alex Ferguson?
He will be told in no uncertain terms that he can't give that ball away. He said it last week, they do possession every day of the week, and that is a crime at Man United to give the ball away, and Danny Welbeck will be feeling the full effect.
There are plenty of positives from a Blackburn point of view to take out of this, though, aren't there, Mike? Really, I mean, number one, how they defended for 75, 80 minutes, but also, they are able to soak up pressure and hit sides on the break, aren't they?
Yes, I've seen them 2 or 3 times now live. The only rider I guess I've got to add to this, and I admired all of their qualities tonight. It's not hard to get up for a game against Manchester United, is it? I mean, this is, as Phil Neville was saying earlier, and this is one of their cup finals in the season. So now they've got to take that. I mean, I'm sure that's going to be Steve Keane's message. Everything that they showed here tonight. What's their next game? Can you remember?
West Brom.
Well, there you go. They've got to show everything that they showed tonight and more now, because they are precariously, perilously placed. Despite that little resurgence that they had with those 2 victories and 2 clean sheets, they're still in a bit of a mess.
Yeah, and because I was thinking, it's interesting you say their next fixture. I was kind of jumping ahead towards right near the end of the season. Wigan at home is their penultimate game, and you kind of look at that and think, well, when they play Wigan here, are they going to have to do something a bit different than they did against Manchester United?
Well, to be fair, I've played against Wigan this season. They like to keep possession like Man United. You know, Roberto Martinez will not change his philosophy at all. He'll come in, he'll get possession of the ball. What Steve Keane's got in his favour is that Blackburn are a goal threat. They've created 4 or 5 really good chances tonight against a really good team, and if they continue to create them chances, they've, out of the bottom 5 teams, they've probably got the best chance of surviving.
And the other thing is, I think Phil mentioned it a few moments ago, realistically they probably were thinking anything we can get from this.
Hit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those where, well, they have to be philosophical about the outcome, I think.
Right, Mike's going to go off and listen to Sir Alex Ferguson's press conference. We'll bring you reaction from both the Manchester United and Blackburn camps before 10:30 here on 5 Live. Phil and Connor are just going to stay with me for another 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to pay our first visit of the week to Augusta and talk about the